Juggernaut crew. Night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Welcome one, welcome all. It is I, Mike Martins, bringing you another very special edition of Mike in the Night. Oh yeah, we got Ani64 in the comments already. We got John S. And people will be joining us shortly. I want to thank everyone for this, for making this transmission possible. I picked up a few more donations in the tip jar. Thank you, thank you, thank you to one and all for that are doing it. And let me know if you want a shout out. Just message me. Send me a message on PayPal when you leave a message when you donate if you want a shout out and what city you're from, so people could know where and who is watching us and who is watching Mike in the Night, burning the midnight oil. It is midnight right now on the East Coast in Toronto, New York, and it's like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning in Ireland, and it is like Sunday late afternoon in Australia. So we'll be touching everybody in every English-speaking country, getting the word out, getting the vibe, getting the flow going, you know what I'm saying? We're getting into the groove. Got a bit of a soundboard we're going to be testing out tonight that I found for free online.
Excuse me.
So we're going to be testing that out and see how that goes. I got a few good ones here. A few funny ones I want to kind of throw up there tonight, and
no,
and it'll be entertaining at the most. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, we got quite a few stories here we want to cover. I would like to cover, maybe have a few guests lined up on the show tonight. There's a few people that would like to come on the show tonight that have. You know, one video that's getting a lot of popularity is the video I did on my channel called Sydney is a Poop Hole. And there's a lot of people, you know, people being somewhat negative towards it, and it's a lot of people asking, Mike, have you even been to Sydney? And it's like, you know what? I'll be very frank with you. I don't need to go to Sydney. Why? Because I've been to Vancouver, and it's the same thing. Bought out city, completely bought out by rich investors, and it is. Let me see if it's under here. I'm just trying to see if I could find what listing I have it under here. I want to thank everyone subscribing. Let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. Let me find that video that's picking up a lot of traction. I think it's got... Where the heck did it go? Oh, come on. Just tell me they took it down. They're always taking down my crap. No one gives me a chance to get my word out. Give me a second, folks. It'll take a second here till I find this damn thing. Wow. Did they actually? Here it is. So it's got 13,000. Yeah. It's a low budget video. I did it at the shop. 13,195 views, and a lot of people are very very upset. And I'm like, look, you've been to one bought out city. You've been to all the bought out cities. Once you go to Vancouver, once you go to Toronto, once you go to Sydney, Melbourne, London, you start seeing the same pattern going out, around in all the other English-speaking cities. So this is an English-speaking problem, English-speaking country problem. And it just keeps going on. And there's a lot of people that do side with me. Like this gentleman here says, I live in Sydney. It drives me to tears. What's happened in 19 short years? The mass immigration had clogged Sydney. It's non-functioning now. It just takes a long to drive, and housing is super expensive. So, like, there's a lot of people that side with me, and there's a lot of people that are really against everything I'm posting about, being negative about it, you know? But people need to wake up and understand, one, this is just a point of view. Two, it's an article that's written, so I'm not pulling this out of the air anywhere. And, okay, look, we got Belinda Mercer in the comments. Peter Oetzinger in the comments, too. Catherine Lane, morning from Johannesburg. Wow, we got someone in from South Africa. Catherine, if you want to add me to Skype, it's Mike Martins 1980, MikeMartins. South Africa is the only country I don't have anyone on the show from. I got quite a few people from New Zealand, Australia, London, Ireland, Scotland, United States of America, Canada, of course. And I need somebody to be on the show or come on the show, even if it's on speakerphone, from South Africa, because sometimes we want to get filled in on what's happening with the land grabs. We want to get filled in on what's happening with, especially the politics down there. Change like people change undergarments. They're constantly changing the laws out there, or refining things. And it's not looking good, so, you know, so I wouldn't mind if people would like to add me. Please add me. And, yeah, I'm just going through a soundboard here, checking things out, getting a little bit of more little trinkets here on the channel, getting it all hyped up. Yeah, so Andre Nicotina saying, would be interesting to hear about South Africa. I've heard bad things about it. Yeah, it's the closest I've been to Angola and Mozambique. I've never been to, because it's Portuguese, right? So I speak Portuguese. It's my first language, right? I don't, you know, I just go to those countries, right? I have not been to South Africa. People in Africa consider South Africa anything south of, I think, Congo and further down is all South Africa, but the people living in Africa state that. But South Africa, as we know it here in the West, is just South Africa, right? Enjoying this coffee that I have this morning, and it's going down real good. It's the Evan coffee. So, guys, jump on this video. Sydney is a SHIT hole. I'd like to know what you guys think about this one. A lot of people are kind of disturbed by it, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a low-budget video. I did it at the shop. It's nothing severely, you know, nothing to worry about it. Nothing to worry about. Metal Gear Mark III is in the house. Thank God he's here. Very happy to hear from him. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, man, we got to throw a hey, hey, hey out there. You know what I'm saying? All right, all right. Here's a little bit of hey, hey, hey. So spicing up the mood.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey,
welcome to Mike in the Night. Yeah, baby, what's up? Yeah. So, what is happening, Mike in the Night? I gotta keep, I was talking to my lawyer on Wednesday, and he was telling me, I need to keep the channel. If I don't want this channel to be taken down, he says I got to keep it somewhat satire-ish at times. I can't keep it serious. I can't keep like swearing and all that stuff. They don't even care too much about that. They care more about how serious or in depth we get sometimes. So if we keep it a little bit satire-ish, so you know what I'm saying, right? We want to keep it as satire-ish as possible. Just like the Corbett Report, or what was that guy? That Canadian show that went on, where they were kind of making fun of Canadian politics and stuff. Canadian Air Force, I think it was called. They were just making fun of Canadian politics left and right, and politicians, and just really putting them through the ringer in a satire-ish, comedic way. You know what I'm saying? Okay, guys. That Portland news title is clickbait, right? Well, here it goes, guys. So let's start off with this Washington Times one here. What the heck is this, man? We're gonna see if we can get James Wright on the channel. By the way, James Wright is a YouTuber with 12,000 subscribers on this channel. Wow, I got a lot of messages here. With a lot of subscribers on this channel, and he promised to come on the show. He's got 12 or 14,000 subs, and I'm trying to get him. So I'm gonna let it ring a bit here in the background. See if we can get a hold of him. Sorry, guys, I don't have a secretary. One day the budget. Yeah, okay, he's unavailable. Okay. So he is unavailable. He said he might be in bed, not too sure. So I'm trying to hang up this call, but it's... Oh, it recorded part of the message that I was talking. Good on you, Skype. Okay, guys. NAACP blames white supremacy for Portland earthquake signs. So, I mean, you can't make some of this stuff up. I don't even know... anytime you start dividing... Every time we start dividing each other, we just become more and more barbaric. That's it. We just become more and more... I don't know. We just are going back in time. And let's move on here real quick. Israeli Christians outraged by the McGee's sculpture. Guys, I don't know why this is happening and why they're mocking Christianity. I don't care if it's art. I don't care what they think art is. They're pushing it too far, and they're creating this absolutely despicable, you know, because if it was against another religion, it would go down as the day the world has stopped, the day the world stood still. And I am not pleased to see this. I am born and raised Roman Catholic, and I got a lot of goodness from that, you know, a lot of goodness growing up, lots of community, lots of positiveness. Actually, there's no negative that I've experienced. Me. Individual did it, by the way. We'll get to the article in a bit here. Absolutely disgusting. What's this? Oh, it's Zero Hedge article. Yeah, I wanted to bring this up, guys, because also in the show we'll be bringing this up. Costco can't keep its 27-pound emergency mac and cheese bucket in stock. Okay, they have it listed under their emergency preparedness in Costco, and it's something that could go for about 20 years which is good. And I would buy this and just put it in storage or put it underneath the crawl space or whatever, right? No problem. But people are eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like, what is happening? Why? Yeah, we know what's happening. We know what's happening. Canada Post worker caught not even attempting to deliver package. This one's going viral. This one, they just leave a tag on the door and walk away. This is nothing new, but I kind of want to mock the guy a bit. From Vancouver to Hong Kong and back again, why some Hong Kongers are eyeing to return to BC. So a lot of people are looking to mass exodus Hong Kong into British Columbia. This is not new news. I mean, this is from today's date, but it's not new news. This has been happening for the last 20 years. But they say it's time to exit China and make Canada a new home. See, Mark III, Metal Gear Mark III is saying the same thing. I might buy that item. It's good for survival. Sure. It's fantastic, especially to deliver it to your door. I'd buy 4 or 5 of them and just put them away for and then 20 years passes if we don't use them. You know, God forbid we have to use them. But if we don't use them, you know what? Buy them because nothing's going to happen. You don't buy them, you're going to be like, damn, something's happening. I wasn't prepared. But you have them, nothing will happen. It's almost like, the P.T. Barnum effect. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't type of thing. It's like kind of, Okay, every day he regretted it. Eye surgery warning from window of a man who died by suicide. So, really sad, guys. If you are going to be doing any eye surgery, guys, please look into it. Because apparently this is not an isolated case. This is really happening everywhere. This is why Canada's inflation rate has accelerated. And this actually ties to every English-speaking country. Because everyone has artificially lowered rates. Gillette, I don't know what the heck is going on with this. I didn't even watch the ad because I couldn't care less. Because apparently men are toxic. And that's what's happening. And it's another big company that's shooting itself in the foot. A lot of these big companies, instead of making their products and doing what they do best, it's like these 2-bit celebrities coming out and getting all political. We don't care about your damn politics. You go and make movies. Now I'm not even watching Hollywood movies anymore. I'm watching stuff filmed in Canada and Israel. I'm watching stuff filmed in Australia now. Low budget stuff on YouTube. I couldn't care less what the heck Hollywood's up to. They should keep their damn opinions to themselves. Democrats say Trump's proposal to end government shutdown is a non-starter. So you're going to have a lot of push against this. Trump offers DCA protections in exchange for border wall. Democrats opposed. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in every mic in the night. We're going to go over a couple of articles, quick headlines. And if people want to jump on, the show. Okay, we got Anthony calling in. Okay, we got Anthony calling in, 2-time world champion on the show.
Hello there, Mike. How you doing?
Good. How are you? I'm not seeing you. Why am I not seeing you? Is your camera on? Mine is. I can see my ugly mug on a side view of my mug here. Oh, he hung up on us, guys. That's Anthony from downtown Detroit, here to make a difference on Mike in the Night. Anthony's political points of views are very interesting because he's on neither left nor right. He doesn't care. He just he's a very interesting guest to have on the show. Okay, cha-cha-cha. Good day, people. No sound. What? I got no sound? Come on, guys. You got to be hearing me by now. Screw Gillette. Yeah, I couldn't care less about these big companies. You know what? You're already making billions. What the heck you want from us? You want to tell us what to do now? You make your razors and you shut up. And if I choose to buy a razor, I'll make that choice and shave with it, depending on how non-politically correct your commercials are. So I got Carmen in the comment section saying, I'm in the middle of buying a $565K house, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath right now. Do you think I made a good decision? By the way, house is brand new in the city of Calgary. Well, we'll keep you on the pulse. Someone's asking if my mic's on. Yeah, guys, can you hear me? Can someone tell me if you can hear me? Because people are saying they can't hear me, and I don't know why. Let me see if I could get Anthony on the show here. Downtown Detroit.
Hello, Mike. How's it going?
Good. Are you there? I can't see. Are you there?
Great. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
So we were talking about the shutdown a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going through it really quick, some of the main articles here. And, okay, guys, people that are just tuning in, this is Anthony from downtown Detroit. See if you can get your camera on. Are you in a position? Are you naked?
Unable to get the camera on right now, if you don't mind.
No problem. No problem. Oh, no problem. No problem at all. Okay, all right. So, I was just reading some articles, so I'll read them back to you if you want to jump in here. So let's get to, okay, well, before we even get to the shutdown, what the heck is wrong with Gillette? I did not watch the ad. I couldn't care less. Why is it such a big front pager? Who cares?
Well, it was definitely kind of a weird thing. I don't know what they were trying to do, like a public service announcement telling men to be less manly or something, but I feel like it wasn't constructive because it kind of blamed all men for a problem of a few that, like, you know, yeah, it was like generalizing all men as predators. So it's pretty not constructive.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I'm just perusing through this article here, and I'm taking a look at what's going on. It's like, you know what, Gillette, shut your mouth and make your razors, okay?
Yeah, we'll take our business elsewhere. There's competitors we can easily buy from now.
Like Bic. Bic is one of them too, right?
Sure, Norelco.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of options out there, but then with the shutdown, it's very interesting that this is the biggest stock market rally that's ever occurred during a shutdown.
Yes, I noticed that. I pulled all my oil out a few days ago, and I noticed it's still going up, even though I pulled out of the market. I thinking that it was gonna do a complete 180 down, and it's not doing a 180 down. It's still going up, and I feel I should have kept my money in oil.
Yeah, but the question is, over the next few months, where's oil going? Do you think up or down?
I keep telling everyone that oil is severely undervalued, but I think oil will go down with housing and this over exuberated. Did you see the IMF report of it was at $86 trillion in debt the world is in right now? And every human being per capita is in debt roughly $88,000.
Thanks to the IMF. They're like the insiders. They're feeding us this little bit of info as they screw us.
Yeah. Did you see that? I can't believe it. I couldn't believe when I saw it. I couldn't believe when I saw that. It was like, what? So right now we're in a position with what we have, what we're being taxed at right now. We could never ever pay the debt down ever in history. We'll never will. Even if human beings, if they made us live 1,000 years, and we had to work the 1,000 years to pay off this debt, we still wouldn't pay it off in 1,000 years.
Yeah, and I saw recently an article on the Vancouver forum about Canadians' net worth being wiped out or something.
Oh yeah, big time, big time.
Some major. I'm going to try to find it right now. Just some major headwinds facing the Canadian middle class because of the debt, and then as I saw the depletion of resources too. Like the mining just doesn't have the minerals anymore, and
I wouldn't say depletion of resources. Canada's a very big country from far and wide. It's got a lot. Yeah. It's got a lot. It's got a lot of untouched land too. It's got a lot of we have a lot of water, and I'm not talking about in the mountains and lakes. We got a lot of water under us, and I think we're going to be. This is a topic for another time, but I think we're by 2050, 2055, we're going to be in water wars. We're going to be fighting over water. We won't be fighting over gas and oil. I think water will be one of the main drivers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just put the article up on your chat.
Okay.
on the
This
YouTube
is
chat.
weird because I made you a moderator. I'll make you a moderator again. Must have been on the old channel. Okay, opening link, because you should be able to post links without it being flagged. Here we go. Huff Post, Huffington Post. What are these guys up to again? Let me just open my back screen here. Okay. Canadian wealth to fall from highest in G7 among the lowest forecasted. I made a video about this. Canadian housing has fallen the most in all G7 nations, too.
Yeah, but it seems like it just hasn't even fallen yet. You know, we're still kind of in the minority even talking about it, it seems.
Mm-hmm. So Canada's unsustainable economy means we're burning through our wealth to keep our paychecks coming. That's what it's looking like. A lot of people borrowing on their homes to consume. People borrowing on their, people putting liens on their car. You know, I heard a lot of people are putting liens on their cars now, Anthony.
On a car?
Yep, you could go to City Financial or Wells Fargo, and you could put a lien on your car for $2,000 to $5,000 if you get approved.
Is that in the U.S. or Canada?
I think in Canada. I know it's in Canada. I'm not sure about the U.S.
Wow. And what does this lead to? Is the thing.
It's leading to a lot of destruction. What can you tell us about the shutdown?
Oh, the shutdown. Well, I mean, it's definitely political theater. Political theater. It's putting some government employees in a devastating position, but I think it's the start of the economic collapse, and it looks like things are booming right now as far as stocks, but I think it's like a temporary January euphoria they're creating leading into the collapse. You know, in bear markets there are rallies, and I think they'll be blaming a lot of crash that's coming on the shutdown.
Mm-hmm. Where do you forecast the wall? Where are we at with the wall right now?
Wow, man, there's so much like just nonsense I hear on both sides about the wall. The need to put a wall on the whole border, which was never the plan. That the wall is immoral because it's immoral to have a wall anywhere, and the wall has been working. So I mean, yeah, it's hard to say how they'll end up working it out. Wow, that's anyone's guess. Mm-hmm. It just seems so up in the air. What do you think?
I'm thinking that it's something that's going to cost not as much as they are predicting. It's a lot less, because I know I've been looking into walls, into pricing out walls. I know Russia built a few in the last couple of years. I know Israel's building a ton of them, and it's costing nowhere near.
Well, I mean, Israel needs the walls because when you want Christians to leave their home for your anti-Christian state, it's part of it. I mean,
right. I'm just talking about. There's a lot of I'm talking about the Turkey border. There's a lot of walls being built. We're actually putting up more walls now than we ever did in there's a lot more discovered territory than we did through mankind. But yes, we are building more walls now than we have ever. You know, and right now, Mexico is building a wall on another. Well, they have some sort of a partial war on their southern border. And now they're building. Now they're actually forecasting to build a wall by 2025.
Yeah, so walls can be effective. No doubt about it.
Oh yeah, but remember when Bill Clinton said that walls are effective, and Bill Clinton and Hillary and George Walker Bush and George H.W. Bush.
This guy Juanin El Mascabron, he says that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'd love to know, what do I lack the knowledge on? We got a commenter telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. We're just talking about the wall here. Can't we talk about the wall? But okay, he's a couple hours away from the border, and he thinks there's definitely a flood of too many illegal immigration, is what he's saying. Yeah. That's all. Well, maybe he could call in and be on the ground, telling us what it's like to live on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to be on the ground, it's good if you want to call in, buddy. Add me on Skype.
Yeah, his perspective is someone that's there. But the other thing about the wall was that a lot of people were complaining that it wouldn't solve the problem of all the drugs that come in through legal ports of entry, and all the shady stuff that happens through the legal ports of entry, not just the crossing the rivers and.
Mm-hmm. No. I'm 1,000,000,000,000% for a wall because, it's a border, right? It's an imaginary line. People see borders as imaginary lines, and that's exactly what it is. But people fought to protect those lands. People gave their lives up to protect those lands. You know how much youth we lost in the First and Second World War to protect those borders and keep those countries sovereign? We lost a lot of life protecting borders. How many Huns died on that Chinese wall protecting that border? I mean, Chinese protecting that border against the Huns and all those different invaders. You know, how many? Tons. People lost more lives protecting their borders, I think, than anything else.
Yep, and the problem there is the other thing that the wall would not solve is the fact that a lot of the crimes committed by the illegal immigrants that were mentioned were actually illegal immigrants that entered legally but just don't they stay too long.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying, yeah.
Overstayers,
yeah. A lot of Canadians do overstay. Quite a few Canadians overstay. But they're shopping and they're buying clothes and they're, they got things going on, you know what I mean? Like they're actually spending money in your country. A lot of the Canadians, the snowbirds, they're paying rent, they're paying car insurance. They're, some overstayers are not that bad, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. So the snowbirds, they don't have a special visa. They just have to overstay. Really?
They can't overstay. Like, when I visit the U.S., they keep telling me you can't stay longer than I can't stay longer than 6 months. Okay, we got Juanin Alamacasabron. If you want to add me, just get Skype. Get Skype. It's 100% free. Get it on your phone. It's 100% free. And just add me. My Skype is Mike Martins 1980. I'll even put it in the chat. And you could tell us what is going on. Mike Martins 1980. It's in the chat. Skype is free. I've motivated a lot of people. Anthony, did I motivate you to get Skype?
No, I've had it for years. I mean,
come on, you got to give me something once in a while.
I'm sorry, but I talk to people, in Brazil with it, and it's my tool.
Yeah, okay. Because Skype is Skype. It's not. Is it tied to Google? No, it's its own entity, right?
Oh yeah, it's on its own. And
yeah, good. Because I'm even thinking of taking down my Facebook page. I just don't want to be part of this. Like, I want to continue on my YouTube and do my channel and kind of do my thing, but I just don't trust Facebook right now. So, anyways, we're getting severely off topic.
Oh yeah, I mean, Facebook is there to screen us. Facebook is there for surveillance. It's there to categorize us. If we were to talk about the deep state military-industrial complex on Facebook and how it bankrupts us, we'd be screened and, of course, profiled on that.
Yeah, it is weird. Let's see if we can do a three-way call with you and Mysterious Space Entity, if that's okay. Because he wants to ask you a few questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
He's been on our show quite a few times. He's pro everything. So he's pro everything. Anthony, can you hear me still? Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Anthony, can you hear me?
Is my microphone working?
Yeah, your microphone's working. Hold on. I'm trying to get Anthony on here.
Okay.
I'm trying to get him back. How do you do three-way calls on Skype, guys?
You just add him in here.
Oh, resume call. Oh, okay, so they put you on hold.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm right here. Hold on. I'm just trying to figure out how to do a three-way on Skype here. Hold on a sec, Anthony. I'm trying to figure out how to add somebody. Oh, I see how I do it. Okay, let's hang up on Mysterious Blue Entity. We're going to add him to the call so all of us can have a very important conversation together because this is he wants to ask you a bunch of questions.
Oh, really? I hope I'm prepared.
No. It's he's on our side.
All right,
let me see how I do this. Add. Okay, I click add. Mysterious Blue Entity. Add. Okay. Calling him now.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. We got a three-way call going with Mysterious Blue Entity guys from Northern British Columbia, and we got Anthony from downtown Detroit. So, guys, So, what is going on your neck of the woods, mysterious blue entity?
Well, before I talk about that, I want to get to this Facebook thing quickly and tell you that if you go to the Facebook website, right, in Canada, and you pay attention to the very bottom corner, all your traffic's being routed through Canadian government servers, or Canadian servers. Government or not, but still, the data's in Canada. It's pretty much profiling you. Right now, there's people getting in a lot of trouble for posting stuff on Facebook, being arrested. The mainstream media is saying people are threatening to kill Justin Trudeau on Facebook, and a lot of people are getting in trouble over that. So,
yeah. So, guys, we're very anti-violence on the show here. I am very anti-violent.
Me too. I just want to.
I'm not for violence. I'm not in the whole violence. There's, I mean, from biblical, from God knows when, it's all been about violence. Okay, Anthony. So, do you have a question for Anthony, mysterious blue entity from downtown Detroit?
I want to know. Like, I have a good idea because I've seen documentaries, but I'm noticing that our food is we're shipping all of our food out and just the quality of food and stuff, and we're giving all of, like, I don't know. We have a lot of bad things happening in Canada because of Trudeau, but I got a question about the food. Like, what are they doing to the food? Because I've noticed some really strange things about the food recently, and I found a blood red orange. Like, I bought a bunch of oranges and they're blood red. I've never seen that before.
I mean, like, blood oranges are the pride of Sicily. I mean, we love those. They're ancient. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, as far as food's getting weird, I mean, just the Monsanto stuff. I mean, I'm seeing recently that they're, the way they spray the pesticides to keep things, to keep the weeds at bay and to make things cheap, they're feeding us cereals and crap, oats, whatever it is, any granola bar or just down to any cracker, that's got pesticide residue in it. And this is true in government, in countries in the whole hemisphere, from Argentina to Canada to the U.S., because they lobby our governments and just control the Monsanto lobby to spray us down with pesticides and feed it to us, this frankenfoods. So any grain is really contaminated. You have to be careful with that. Have you heard about that one?
Yeah, no, like what I've seen some documentaries and I've researched into this and stuff, and what I'm noticing is Canada, whatever good food we get or whatever good resources we get, we ship it out of the country as fast as possible. I've seen documentaries of people from Saskatchewan just slaving. It's nonstop, go, ship the food to China. And it's just, you know, it's like we're bringing in the garbage, like garbage foods and stuff, and the actually good healthy stuff, the good healthy stuff that comes from Canada is being literally ran out of this country. It's like they're trying to, as fast as possible, ship it out. That's what it seems to me.
Yeah, and the production of soy, I mean, the dedication of all this land to soy. Soy is very toxic to produce, and it leaches it's taking all the nutrients out of the soil too. So we're field planting and doing monoculture where we're planting every year the same crop. So it's just all toxic agriculture process, and we're just eating the wrong way. People are living off soy now, all these soy oils that produce estrogen, these artificial oils. And it's waging war on people's immune systems too, I think.
Oh yeah. It's definitely doing that. And if I could interject here, one thing I have been noticing about food, and I wanted to make another video about this, even though I've made 13 already in the last 4 months, is why is food, if the food we're eating is junk, why is it getting so damn expensive?
Well, it's, you know, it's like I believe Canada is completely taken over, right? Like, it should be law that you have to be a born Canadian citizen to get in government, and we have all of these foreign influences now in government as MPs and stuff. They're taking our resources. I heard something about if Canada, I saw Pierre Poilievre do a speech, and he said that if Canada tries to get their own oil and resources, countries like Saudi Arabia, China, all around the world will do everything to get in the way and stop that. And if you look at the House of Commons Parliament, it's insane. I heard another rumor where other countries are putting people into university to infiltrate the Canadian government because there's no citizen requirement to get in, and there's a bunch of foreign influence and infiltration going on in the Canadian government right now, and it's crazy.
Now, Blue Entity, my question for you is: did this start with Trudeau, or was this going on during Harper and before him? And
I am not quite sure, but it seems it started with Trudeau. It probably has been going on for quite some time, but I just started noticing it now, where basically the reason why I think Trudeau fired his whole he when he got into power, right? He said it's 2015. Well, he gave a statement. Basically, he got rid of his whole cabinet and gave a statement saying gender neutral balance, whatever. I think that was an excuse to get basically infiltrators inside of the government,
neocons.
Right? But
neocons.
Yeah, but he was just saying it was some sort of excuse for feminism because it's 2015, right? And to me, that seems like he was just trying to get people in there. I think the guy is being bribed. I think he has offshore bank accounts. Let's say he loses next election, or he doesn't get in next election, or people go after him criminally. All he has to do is get on a plane, go to some offshore island or anywhere in the world, and transfer his funds. So I basically think he's bought and paid for. I'm also going to say another thing too is career politicians are in it for the money. People like Trump, right? They have their own money and they're not in it for the money. Career politicians are just only in it for the cash. And to me, this seems like a complete taking orders from other people. Like he's been caught meeting with George Soros.
Well, I mean,
it's never ending. The list is never ending with this guy. Sorry, go ahead.
We try to categorize Trump in a different category from Trudeau and things, and the Trump of Brazil in the South. But that's the thing. We call in Brazil, we call him the Trump of Brazil, but he's been a politician for the last 30 years, and that's like all he's ever done. So he goes in the category of career politician, yet people want to call him Trump. And then career politicians, I mean, even newbie politicians can be scumbags too, because they have no reputation and no reputation on the line and no experience to so it's like it could go both ways, I think.
Yes, it can. Okay, mysterious blue entity, bud. It looks like your mic's off. Did you turn off your mic, buddy?
Yeah, no, I'm just turning it on and off so I don't talk over you guys.
Okay, no biggie. Okay, mysterious blue, we're gonna let you go, and we need you on the forefront with us on every show. If you could jump in on updates. So we got an update today on the food with you, and then next week jump on with something else that you're noticing.
Can I say one
go ahead.
thing about the food situation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just be careful what you're buying and stuff on the shelf. A few weeks ago, I went and bought I'm not going to say which restaurant because I could get in trouble, but I went to a very well-known retailer restaurant. I bought a sandwich and I found plastic lettuce in it. I studied it, and it was the exact same plastic lettuce this is in Canada, this is in BC, that people have been talking about a lot. I've also noticed too, because I've taken out some Chinese food. Some Chinese restaurants are good, but I came across this one where the rice wasn't real. So this GMO, this plastic stuff, this Florida poisoning going on, slow dumbing down of the population, all of this stuff happening to our resources. It's real. Just be careful what you buy. Look at the labels. And one more thing too. The government is trying to get rid of labeling so they can feed us the garbage, but just do your research, be aware, pay attention.
That's very true.
Filter your water. Make sure you filter your water. I will not drink tap water. I haven't drank tap water for years. I filter anything I get with water through the tap. So just do your research, be careful, and thank you for letting me come on and just bringing this up.
Thank you, mysterious blue entity. So, calling from northern British Columbia. So, Anthony, anything else you want to touch on?
Yes. What about the threat of impeachment of the president of the United States?
They've been trying to impeach every president. How many presidents have they impeached? One, right? In the history of America?
And who is that?
I can't even remember who it was, man.
Nixon or?
Well, Nixon, yeah, because of the Watergate scandal. But I'm talking about, like, that was impeached that they didn't like.
Right.
There was, I think there was a president because they just dislike Trump. It's not that he's, I don't know. I think Trump really is for the American people in a way because he's sick and tired of seeing the country going downhill.
Hey, I just want, I will exit the call. I just want to bring up one more thing about the impeachment.
Yep.
Are you there, Mysterious?
Mysterious?
Yeah, I just want to bring up one thing and I'll exit the call.
Yeah.
So with them trying to say Trump is lying, that's complete BS. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go.
So politicians lie all the time. If you look at Trudeau, the Liberals, the Democrats, they're Macron, Liberals.
Yeah, but Republicans do. Republicans do too, though. We've been through this. And yeah. Macron's not a liberal, also.
Sorry, I mean Democrats. I might have said Republican by accident, but
no. I'm saying that Republicans also lie just as much. It's been proven.
Yeah, politicians lie all the time. Justin Trudeau, Macron, Democrats,
Harper,
all the time. Harper. Why haven't they been charged? And they have committed way worse things than Trump has. Like.
They're using him as a scapegoat, and he's a Hollywood actor, so they install him to say, oh, that's the bad guy. That's who we need to all rally against. So now the Bushes all rally along and say, he's a liar. He's the bad one. He's lying about Syria, doing mistakes in the Middle East, even though they've done nothing but. That's what I think.
But
Scapegoat.
I'm just going to say one more thing, and I won't bother you. I'll watch the rest of the stream. If they impeach Trump or charge him or whatever, shouldn't they all be charged because they have lied way worse? They have done way worse things than Trump has. They're openly betraying people. They lie in the media, everything. So they should look themselves in the mirror before they point the finger at Trump about some of the stuff. So anyway, I just had to say that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was a great notion he added to it, but I just think it's part of the design.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all really good actors. I mean, even the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, would say, "We're not building the effing wall," and the people would just applaud him like, "Oh, this valiant Mexican former president." Okay, does he have like drug charges against him? Disappeared people, probably.
Yeah. Well. I mean, we don't know, right? So you remember in the show a couple of shows ago that there's, when you see something happen and the media, I guess, has to report on it because it's a big deal, and everyone's looking at it and saying, "Why is this happening?" I don't think we'll ever really know why. We could speculate why. The media is going to lie to us. The government will lie to us. But whenever there's something that's really big, I truly believe in my heart of hearts. We don't really know. And I think we will never, ever know. And it's up for us to speculate and talk about while we still can.
Yeah, we can definitely see a pattern forming, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying there isn't, but
the approval rating of the Bushes has shot up tremendously in the past year.
Okay.
And then we're seeing Nancy Pelosi becoming a champion for the wars that she was voted in 2006 for opposing. Everything is reversed right now.
Yeah, everything. Of course, it's because Trump's against the wars and wanting to bring the troops home, and of course she's going to go against it. Anything. If Trump says, I'm going to start drinking water because it's good for me, she'll stop drinking water because she thinks it's bad for her.
The thing with the Trump and the wars is that he said he's against them, like the president before him, Obama too. Mm-hmm. But the mother of all bombs, all this stuff, he successfully killed a lot of people, and really continued a lot of the same stuff while just kind of like saying that Hillary did it too. But the deep state continues, and we're just constantly told that as long as we elect someone new, we're going to defeat the New World Order and the deep state. But it's in place. It's at the agency level. It's there no matter who's president.
I got a question. But what about the 3 stories we don't catch, that we don't know about? We catch a story. We catch something. We catch something in the wind, right? It's like the people trafficking drugs across the border. 1 gets through, but 3 get across.
It's whatever they spoon feed us.
But what about the 3 stories we don't get? And how do we properly connect the dots? That's the main question. We're getting what we're being told, right? What about the real stuff that's going on that we never get to know, and we can't really get the full picture? That's why, there's so much going on that there's only so much time in a day we could talk about it,
Yeah, and just you can observe patterns in the societies we're in. Why do we have millions of refugees?
Belinda Mercer said right now it's top secret.
What's top secret?
The reason why we have millions of refugees. I'm just kidding with you, Anthony.
Oh, okay.
Anthony.
And then just to the impeachment, I mean, they could create this like Russia thing and then impeach him on that. Even though, I mean, the thing they're accusing him of as far as conspiring with a foreign government behind our back and things, this is like standard business for the U.S. What do you think we do with the Saudis on a daily basis?
All kinds. All kinds, man. All kinds.
And other countries, too, that I'm not going to mention because, I mean...
a lot of back-end deals. I know.
There could be a knock at my door if I was to bring up the reality of who's conspiring, which countries.
Of course there's going to be a knock on all our doors, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, we could do this right now because we still can, right?
For now. Yeah, but then just the outrage in the media. He conspired with the Russians.
It's like, yeah, anybody that's... They either get you on Russians or you're a racist or... What's the other one?
Right.
Russians and racist, and what's the other one? Racist and...
Sexism too, probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, it wouldn't be the $1 trillion deficit. There was no complaint against Trump for the Schumer-Trump deficit. Mm-hmm. That's where bipartisanly Trump and Schumer decided to get together and indebt our country $1 trillion.
Yeah. I got Belinda Mercer very active in the comments section. Belinda, you want to turn on your Skype? I have you here on Skype. You want to talk? You don't have to show. You just speak over the phone if you want. Belinda's down in South Florida. Maybe she could give us a little bit of insight.
Oh, is she the one that does the astrology and all that?
Nope. That's somebody else.
That's someone else in Florida. Okay.
Yeah. I got like quite a few people on Skype here from South Florida. Even people I know personally too that I know as friends.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But just the thing with the bipartisanship. I mean, this is where we find the middle ground and support pure evil. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Belinda says she lost her voice. She went to karaoke last night. So Juanin El Mascobran, if you want to come on the show, please come on the show. Add us on Skype. We'll get you on the show. He's got some couple of things on his mind too. Matt Guy, come on the show. I need everybody that's in the comment section at least to come on the show once. This is your peer pressure. If you want to be cool, you got to be on the show. You know what I'm saying? Peer pressure. Anyways, Anthony, are you still there, buddy?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Yep.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna continue reading some of these headlines and keep us in line with what's going on with the border wall, refuge. Just keep us up to date once a week. Maybe do a quick plug on what you think is going on or what you feel is going on and how you think things are headed. I appreciate it.
All right. One last thing I saw was that Trump tweeted out that like the stock market would collapse if he was impeached because they're really like bringing up these Russian issues recently. Mm-hmm. So that's something else to look out for. You know, okay. Economic headwinds and President Pelosi 2019.
Really? Do you think she'll live long enough?
Well, there's only a few months left, and none of us are violent, so she'll be well taken care of and ready to stand up for the office. Because I think the protocol would be to have Pelosi as president because Pence would be by de facto kicked out too.
Okay. Okay.
Because if they determine the Russian, that's the theory, that if the election in itself was illegal, then the vice would leave with him. So that would be like a nightmare, huh?
But didn't Hillary fix the election and lost?
Well, she fixed it within her own party, yeah.
So, isn't that illegal?
Oh, but some people are above the law. We've seen that, you know.
Oh, okay. Because if she won the presidency, that would be brushed under the rug and no one would be talking about it anymore today.
It's possible. Or they installed him to drop the ball. They can post this whole housing crash you're talking about in Toronto is going to spill over in the whole world, and then they can blame chaos on the man in charge. And Hillary was always meant just to be sitting in a recliner somewhere in diapers.
Okay. Okay, Anthony, thanks for your feedback, brother. We'll see you next week if you get some time, okay?
All right, sounds good. Talk to you soon. Thanks for having me on.
Have a good night. And that was our man Anthony with his perspective from downtown Detroit. And let us know if you want to do I know how to do a 3-way call here on Skype, and a 4- and 5-way call if needs be, we can. Metal Gear Mark III should come on the channel. You're in California. Anyways.
Can go to zero, stay the same, or they can go to the freaking moon. Like
Woo! So I was hitting up AMTV because I don't know why I'm hating on AMTV, but it's the most entertaining channel. He's got a live video that's been going on for 52 hours.
You're going to want to have water. And if you're one of the millions of Americans...
This has been going on for hours. 5 watching now.
Below, get this.
And why
box
does he shut
right
down
away.
his comments?
We're
How come
gonna
people
sell
can't
out.
comment
I'm
on
only
this?
offering this a limited time. So make sure you're taking the preparations on food and water. Get right with God. And then also, I want to hear your comments and questions.
Yeah, so anyways, that's our sorry guys, I need to play this once in a while. It's the most one of the most entertaining things that oops, that's gonna flag my video. Christ. Put a little bit of something in there and your video gets flagged and you get shut down quick in a heartbeat. Very interesting. This has been going on for, I don't know,
taking
5
preparations.
days now.
In fact, we just launched at the AMTV store, store.amtvmedia.com. Click the...
Who the heck is watching this for hours on end? Anyway.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so anyways.
My name is Mr. Burns.
Let's move on to, we'll keep the AMTV there in the background going 24/7, see if it actually changes from anything else. Hopefully it will change to something else. Very, very concerning. And we are trying to get the show going on here. There's a lot of trolls in the troll section. I really appreciate that, guys. All right, Costco can't keep. Let's move on to where we were. Trump tells Pelosi, no plane. Boss, the plane, boss, the plane, boss. Yeah, using taxpayers' money to go to what? Where was she going to go? Like 5 countries to do what? To talk bad about Trump in 5 countries? I mean, it's getting old, man. Canadian speaks out about being barred from visiting dissident father in China. Wow. Wow. So people are being not able to go? Canadian daughter of Chinese political prisoner is speaking out about the ruthless communist authorities after being detained twice this week. She tried to visit her ailing father. Wow. So China's right now, I guess, one of the big moments in the news. Yeah, Globe and Mail could go to hell. What was this Globe and Mail? Where was that? Yeah, $1.99. China's looming Great Wall off debt may have major global implications. That's another one we might hit on tonight too. These are some of the topics I have right now. China's slump squeezes workers, hammers consumer spending. That's from today too. So this is Parker Bahan channel. I speak to him from time to time. Calls me at the shop. Been in person to visit me. He was supposed to be on the show tonight. Just Cringe Diversity channel also. I am not seeing him here. I have here, I mean, I could try calling him. I don't know if he's going to answer. And we need Steve the Plumber. He's offline. We need Steve the Plumber to get Skype so we can get him on three-way. We need Steve the Plumber to get Skype so we could three-way call him with other people on the show and get a big discussion going here. Just get a little bit of insight on what's going on. Hopefully we could get Evan on the show later. I think Peter's lining up too to come on the show. Give us a little bit of insight on what's going on his neck of the woods. And Sydney is SHI Hole. It's getting a lot of traction on my channel. It's almost at 14,000 views. A lot of people in favor. I'm going to pin... who do I have pinned up here? Let me pin Peter's comment to the top here. Hey, it doesn't even let me pin his comment. Why? Yeah, it won't even let me pin his... Oh, you know why? Because this is not my... I'm on my backup channel. Guys, thanks for joining me on the backup channel here. Mike in the Nights. This is our speakeasy. This is our video game channel that we have propped as a video game channel that does get updated on a weekly basis. And we are speakeasies here. So... yeah, there's a lot of troll accounts here, and I don't know what's going on with man, people have a lot of time. I'm not kidding you. Mike's dog Pluto, Mike's left nut. You know, there's so much fake. Yeah, he must be severely bored. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Woo! Yeah, we're getting things rolling. The coffee's kicking in.
What do you think
AMTV
is coming next to the United States?
Yeah.
And what do you think Donald Trump is inferring about militarizing our border and Americans not going quietly into the night? I'm Christopher Green. Get out everywhere. Make it viral.
Yeah, man.
It in your face. Click the link below to get your AMTV shut.
Yeah, this has been going on for a couple of days now. He's pushing this. He probably got a miscommunication with the supplier. He ordered probably like 300 of them, and they ended up sending him 30,000 of them through a gargled interception communication that was mistranslated in some sort of translation. Yeah, AMTV using fear to sell stuff. Come on, man. That channel used to be so good. It used to be World War... We should be right now, according to him, in World War 49. Or is it 52? I'm not too sure. But we're in one of those wars, according to him, and then that stopped. Woo! Anyways. I always got the Nature Boy here with me. Let's get the Nature Boy on before we go into our next... Woo! 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 Yeah, we got the Nature Boy. Nature Boy is always with me, guys. Don't you forget that. Okay. Let's get to some more serious stuff here. Like I said, guys, I need to get my channel to be a bit satire-ish. I spoke to my lawyer. He watches my show, actually, believe it or not. He does not comment on it, though. And he likes watching my show. And he told me that try and keep it a bit satire-ish, not so serious at times. Get a little bit of a soundboard. You know, just get it more kind of comedic kind of, if possible, just so I don't get this channel shut down. So Mike Martin's pet hamster is in the Steve, can you get Skype, buddy? I know you're watching because you just blocked that pet hamster guy. Can you get Skype, buddy? Because I want to put you on a few three-way calls. Could Gary Medeiros get on Skype too? Gary Medeiros, I know you're watching too. Can you get yourself on Skype too? We're gonna get some people on. I want to get some three-way calls going in between people so we could know what the heck is going on. know what's going on and how it's going on and where people are at right now, and giving people a little bit of insights on their neck of the woods on what they feel. Yeah.
That's it. I'm out of here.
Anyways, so just checking out.
Screw you guys.
Checking out the soundboard here. It sounds pretty cool, and I am looking for.
Are you Samuel James Witwicky, descendant of Archibald Witwicky?
Oh yeah, that's from Transformers. That sounds pretty cool, actually. That's some pretty cool stuff. And here's our friend.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up?
What's up, Big
Alright, that's enough satire. Let's get our man, Sam, down in north of Perth. We'll get him on the show right now. Let's get him on the show. Let's call him on Skype. He is available and watching and available to talk.
Hey, hello?
Sammy.
Yeah, how you going, Mike?
How are you, my brother?
Yeah, good. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Just here, hanging out. Kicking back with some Mike in the Night, burning some midnight oil here. So, what's on your mind, buddy? You wanted to come on the show? You've been at what's going on? What can you tell us from what's happening down under?
It's pretty quiet where I live. Just like, there's a few dramas with iron ore supply and what have you. Mind you, I think that train crash before that BHP had, and there was a fire as well on one of Rio Tinto's ports. Yeah, but where I am, the housing market seems to be on the up a little bit. It's sort of crashed here due to the mining boom and what have you. But yeah, you're seeing what you've been talking about, making it a bit more common to see those kind of things you've been talking about, making it into the mainstream now.
I don't think they have much of a choice, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, yourself, it's all based on sentiment, and that sentiment started to swing now, eh? So.
And so, let me ask you a question. You're down in Australia, and I got into a discussion with Andrew Baker for not too long, but we did get into a discussion over global warming, and he's saying that it's 40 degrees in Sydney, and it's all about global warming. Now, my question to you is, has the weather changed much in your neck of the woods, or is it pretty much the same since you were a kid?
No, well, I can't really say because I grew up in the UK, but I've lived here for 10 years, and I live in the Pilbara, which is in the far northwest, tropical desert, more or less. And yeah, no, it's like we get cyclonic weather up here. So what I've noticed this year for us is that it took a long time for summer to start. Like it stayed pretty cool for a long time, and now our summer, because we get above 40 quite regular and high humidity, but it seemed to take a really long time this year. But the weather changes all the time, doesn't it? I mean.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I don't think, I'm going to be really going to be very frank with this. The sun has its own elliptic movement or its own orbit, and the sun does rotate on its own axis and its own, just like the Earth. And that's why every couple of 100 years we have these mini ice ages or cool downs. And then once the sun comes, I guess, within X amount of distances, or sunspots start flaring. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but all I can tell you is the sun has its own agenda just like we do here.
Yeah, exactly. And everything's cyclical, eh? And what you seem to find is that any kind of storm or cyclone or anything, they just hype it up to high hell and try to terrify people,
Yeah.
just to push that agenda.
Can I tell you what my response to the whole global warming thing? I don't believe in global warming, and I'll tell you why. Because the government introduced it to us.
Well, if you look back to the 70s, it was going to be global cooling. That was what they were going to scare you to death with and use.
Yeah.
Their agenda.
Yeah. Once the government introduces anything, I don't care what it is, right there it falls off the map for me. Once they start bringing up global warming and then they start prosecuting scientists that went against global warming and throwing them in jail, it's like, okay, I don't believe it anymore. It's government propaganda. Leave me alone.
Yeah, like, you know, truth doesn't fear investigation. When you've got to mandate certain things you can't talk about under threats of violence or, you know, imprisonment, then there's a good reason to suspect it's a lot of garbage and it's just another tool they use to oppress people and ram through whatever legislation they want to get through, you know?
Okay, we got Metal Gear Mark III in the comments saying, first it was global warming, now they're changing it to climate change. Yeah, exactly. They're going to, and then another 50 years from now, they're going to call it, and you know what the effed up thing is, Sam? Let me tell you what the most dangerous thing is 100 years from now, because Google controls all of our history right now, they're going to make it seem 100 years from now, global warming got really bad, so people had to pay a lot of taxes to cool down the earth before it overheated. And then 100 years from now, people will look back at that and believe that history and think that they need to be slaves. That's what I'm afraid of. Sam, I could bet you 100 to 1, that they're going to look back 100 years from now and say, yes, Saddam Hussein did have weapons of mass destruction, and the U.S. went to liberate Iraq and free the people. Hand to God, I believe that's what's going to happen 100 years from now.
Well, I don't doubt it. Just go down the memory lane. You have Winston rewriting history, you know, like 1984. Exactly.
Yep. Big Brother's watching you, my brother. It's watching everybody. And someone was telling me, he's like, Mike, you know, you have a lot of guts to come on your show and this and this and that. It's like, it does. If somebody wants me, they could find me whether I'm on a show or not. You know what I'm saying, Sam?
Right. Yeah, like, you see things where the government seems impotent and it can't do anything, but if the government wants to do something and get someone, it'll get someone. So why be scared of it, you know?
I know. Why hide in the shadows?
You see them where you think, oh, the government's taking time and it can't act and it can't do anything. But when they really want to do something, they'll do it, you know, and they'll ram legislation through and, you know, do it.
Yep.
You know, that's just how it is.
Yep.
I mean, like you laugh, the biggest crack up I had with global warming and all that is that if you remember, Australia under Julia Gillard was the first country to have the carbon tax.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Oh,
and
God.
He said, oh, you know, we're going to make a difference, you know, with a minuscule industry, Australia, rather than, you know, the diminishing manufacturing and all the rest of it, while China can pollute as much as they want and do whatever. It's like, come on, it's a joke, eh?
You know, I'm going to tell you straight up, the California coast is completely destroyed because of China's pollution. It took a while for it to arrive, and it's here. Oregon, Washington State, Vancouver, all the way up north to the Alaskan Panhandle. The amount of pollution and garbage that's being dumped is all arriving here now in the entire Western Hemisphere, from Anchorage, Alaska, all the way to the bottom of Baja California.
Well, you got the jet stream, that blows across that way, and you know that's where the Japanese, I think, in World War II, they sent like balloons with bombs because they knew the wind would eventually blow it to America. If you remember that, like all that stuff from East Asia will blow over to America for sure.
Yeah, that's 100% actually. That's actually something and the trade winds and the Gulf streams so. What else is going on, Sam? Are you employed? Everything's okay there?
Yeah, I'm employed. I work for a big engineering company that services the mining and oil and gas companies, and in that area, everything's picking up again. Like there's a few big new mines getting built in iron ore, and that lithium's taking off.
Yeah, you were telling me that a few shows ago that the lithium-ion industry there is doing well.
Yeah, and they're going to try refine it a bit more, so they're not just shipping the raw products. They're going to do that. Yeah, and I think down south in Greenbushes, that's in south of Perth, that's going to be the biggest lithium producer in the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So let me ask you. Are you starting to notice signs of inflation? Are things getting more expensive? Is food getting expensive there? Because I went grocery shopping, I think 3-4 days ago with the wife and kids, and I couldn't believe how much we paid. I paid $400 for food, and we didn't buy caviar and lobster. You know, we're just buying typical food products. Have you noticed an increase in food, gas, anything abnormal there, price wise in Australia?
Definitely, food's increased. The price of fuel's actually dropped quite a bit, and it's surprised to your other stuff like your bills, like your gas and your electricity, and they're the main ones that keep going up. And prices for insurance, you know, I mean, I live in a cyclone-prone area, so my insurance a year for the house is over $2,000.
Wait, $2,000 or 2,000 pesos?
Dollars for the year.
Whoa. Yeah. I gotta come out and visit you, Sam, sometime. I haven't been to Australia. I have been to Vancouver though. I'm just joking, because when people ask me on my can I ask a question? You know that video I did where Sydney is a SHIT hole, and a lot of people are with me on this one, a lot of people are against me on this one, right? What do you think?
Oh, I've never been, but I can from my own experience in Europe and other places. And
okay, let me ask you. You're from the UK. You've been to London, right?
Yeah.
Have you been back recently?
Yeah, 2016 I was there.
Okay, good enough. Good, that's a good time.
Country, and you're actually a minority in your own capital city. You know?
Yeah.
What's that about? And yeah. You know, you can import the third world into your country and think, oh, they'll start behaving like we do, but it never seems to work like that. They all stick to their own enclaves and, you know, and carry on like that. You've seen it. I don't know if any other Australians told you about what had been happening in Melbourne and the beaches and that there with the
the gang fights. A lot of gang fights. I heard there's even a pile of gang fights that are not being reported on in Italy, believe it or not. In some parts of Italy, they're having a lot of wars between the Sri Lankans and the Italians, and the Sri Lankans and the what was it? Sri Lankan and I can't remember the other culture.
Bangladeshis. It'll be Bangladeshis, I think.
Bangladesh. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Sam. You're on the money. Bangladesh. Sorry, not Sri. Yeah, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, but Bangladesh is causing a lot of problems in parts of Italy and fighting with the Italians. So in parts of Greece,
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, I can't. My geography might be a bit rough, but I can't remember Bangladesh bordering with Italy. Can you?
No, but it's a very bizarro, you know. And then that goes back to the question: would the wall work? Because if people are getting into Italy from Bangladesh and they don't border each other, putting a wall across the Mexican border, I mean, could it really change? Could it really fix the problem? Like, for real? I am pro-wall. I am pro-country. I am pro-borders. Protect your country. Protect your sovereignty. Protect your people. Love your people. Right? Love others. You know? Visit other countries. You know, like I want to go to Ireland one day and experience Ireland. And the beer and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to when I go to Mexico, I want to go to Mexico. I want to speak I speak Mexican. I lived in Mexico for 2 years. I want to be Mexican when I go to Mexico. I want to have fun. I want to be part of the culture, the food, the dancing, the music, everything, you know? Same thing, you know, when I go to Angola, I want to speak in Portuguese. I don't want to go to Angola and, you know, I want to be part of that culture. You know what I'm saying? So it's you know, I have a comment here. Okay, Sam, I'm going to read this comment to you, okay?
Yep.
Here it is here. It's a comment that someone posted on my Sydney is... This lady brings up something very interesting. Okay, it says, what? Don't you like being in a city where you have the privilege of feeling like you're in Bombay, Mexico City, Kinshasa, and Shanghai at the exact same time? So that's the reply about Sydney. She says, don't you like being in Bombay, Mexico City, Kashania, and Shanghai at the same time?
It depends, doesn't it? Well, look. So they make you laugh because the only places that are allowed to be ethnocentric is not the first world European heritage countries, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody else can be ethnocentric, but if you're European and generally Christian, you're not allowed to have your own country. And if you say, "Oh, I won't mind me, having my own country, and maybe some of my culture is worth protecting," then you get called a racist or whatever. It's like,
well,
but you can go anywhere else in the world, and it's pretty much an ethnocentric country you'll go to.
Well, everybody's born with a culture. Everybody's born with an identity. We're all born into this, and unfortunately, some cultures are just not of any popularity right now. They're hating against white men. This whole Gillette. Did you see that stupid Gillette commercial? I didn't even see it. Have you seen it, Sam?
Yeah, I watched the thing on it, yeah.
What the hell is Gillette doing getting into politics, into culture?
It's trendy at the minute, isn't it? That's the meme at the minute. You got to attack anything masculine and push all this feminism and that, but
I don't know what the heck is going on.
It'd be good these women that hate men and everything else. It'd be good that there's some real monsters come into the country and really start abusing women. From the sort of the Islamic countries where they really treat women well. Really start abusing women. And who's going to stick up for these women then? These blokes that have been abused by women for all the rest of it. I mean, there are idiot men who just act like morons to women and everything else, but the vast majority aren't.
Yeah.
So if you're going to berate men and tell them they're no good and whatever, and they're worthless, stupid, and their ideas and everything aren't valid, and then you get some real monsters coming into your country, like you're getting in Europe, and you're seeing it in other countries with a mass migration. Who's going to stick up for those women?
Yeah. Well, that's the question. That's the $1 million question. It's like, I mean, for any damage you do on one side. Well, for anything that gets done, there's always an after, what do you call it, when you take prescription drugs? There's a side effect. There's always a side effect to everything, Sam.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you've had, like where I'm from Yorkshire, and we had all there's a big Pakistani minority in West York, in the majority, I'd say, in West Yorkshire and countries like that. And, with all the rape cases and the grooming and everything that came out of there.
Yeah, I heard about that. And that was actually a big deal for a while. And we can't program cultures. Cultures are cultures, right? I can't go to somewhere in Europe and even like from Portuguese to Poland, even though we're in the same continent, we're very different.
Exactly.
We're completely different people. Yeah, okay, maybe we might be... Okay, the Portuguese are a little bit darker. I mean, I got a lot of lights on me, but Portuguese are a little more... They're Iberian. We're a lot darker. And we are... it's different, Like, the mentality of looking at culture is so different, Sam. Like, I'm going to show you guys here what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to... because everyone thinks, oh, we're picking on, we are working on, like we are picking on Africans. We're picking on the Chinese. We're not picking on nothing. We're just trying to get, kind of find out, like here. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in this video here. I'm gonna kind of fast forward a bit so it doesn't catch. Yeah. So it's a Portuguese thing. So I'm a Portuguese. We have our own culture. We have our own customs. We have our own thing. Like Portuguese don't believe in debt. A lot of us are not. I'm not in debt because I was raised to not go in debt. Period. If you can't buy it, you don't buy it. Period. That's one thing we have. Another thing is, if there's even a gap in our age of 3 or 4 months, it makes a big difference how we speak to each other or address each other. So if there's even if Sam, if there's a 3-month gap between our age and you're 3 months older than me, it's like a different. I have to speak very differently to you and watch what I say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is my point of view. Okay, so this is me. Okay, so let's play this here. So this is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is the Portuguese national anthem soccer team singing the national anthem. He's a Portuguese. That man's a Portuguese, right? This is how I saw it as a kid. See that man? He's black, but he's a Portuguese. We don't see these people as, or people in general, that guy's super mulatto, but he's a Portuguese. People are forgetting their culture. There's another Portuguese there. That's a Portuguese. These people are all Portuguese. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Sam? They're dividing, a lot of people are dividing. So when we say an Ethiopian comes and we try to change his culture or trying to assimilate into our culture, it would take centuries to do something like that for it to assimilate. You know what I'm trying to say, Sam?
Yeah, there's no drama. You know, if people assimilate to their own nation, it's when you come and you try and impose your will on you. You're a guest, and then you try and impose your will, and you know, I think that's the drama.
But do you get
some cultures are compatible, like, and they can live, you know, in more or less in harmony. Like, look at the Hindu Indian population in Britain. I'm pretty sure it's the second highest population of Indians outside of India, and they're no trouble in England, or they're no trouble. You never hear them are raping and grooming.
Yeah, but you gotta remember something, Sam. India was a colony of England, so they kind of were semi-introduced to the British Commonwealth for a couple of 100 years. You got to remember that too, right? So,
I know, because you had the Commonwealth Agreement, and after World War II, you had all the West Indians and that coming into Britain. I mean, there was a bit of strife with them when they first come in, but they've assimilated, and you've got, you know, West Indians who are proud to be British and English and everything else, and they're no drama. It's the ones that want to remain fiercely ethnocentric and then start trying to cause a bit of discord. I think that's the drama. I was in the British Army before, and we had Fijians, you know, heaps of other Commonwealth countries, and we're all the same. We all shared that common culture of being in the British Army together. No dramas, you know, but it's when you get one group who wants a bit more than everyone else and wants to, you know, rock the boat a bit.
Yeah, you know, it's because it was very different. In our upbringing, it's very different. Like, when I see somebody, like this man is a Canadian man, I see it like that. I never see it by color. You know that, Sam? Like, this is what the point I'm trying to get across. That man's a Portuguese. That man's a Portuguese. This man right here in the video is a Portuguese. This guy's a Portuguese. That guy's a Portuguese. And that guy's a Portuguese. That's how I see it as, Sam. To me, Sam, I don't see you as a white guy. I see you as an Australian. Because that's what you are, who you are. You know what I'm saying, Sam?
Yeah, I don't care what color what person is, you know, as long as they're all right and they're a decent, honest person.
Mm-hmm.
Color don't mean a thing.
You know, so that's how I was brought up, or our culture is. There's, I think, in the Portuguese culture, we don't see people by color. We see people by their country of nationality, right? Like, you see a Mexican, you see a Chinese person. Even though there's a Jamaican guy living in China, for example, and he lives in China, for example, he to me is a Chinese person. Do you see what I'm saying? But the people immigrating into, let's say, the UK right now, they're not UK. They won't be assimilated into the culture for another 30, 40, maybe 100 years. And that's the problem.
I think I've seen a few studies, and it's the amount, it tends to come to the amount of people all at once. Like, you can absorb small numbers at a time, but when you get a huge influx at once, you know, then the assimilation's a lot harder because they're not spread out within the countries and within the host nations. You know, where there's more or less got to assimilate, they can stay within their own sort of communities. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I know what you mean. Sam, I got one article I want to talk to you about, and then we're going to let you go. You can't make this up, and I'm going to read it out to you. NAACP blames white supremacy for Portland earthquake.
Yeah, it must be what website that was.
This is on the Washington Post, dude. This is like the Washington Times, okay? This is not some, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think a lot of the big thing is they're trying to set one race against another and all the rest of it. And meanwhile, the government, scheming and plotting for everyone's eventual downfall and all the rest of it,
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Sam, we'll have you on soon again. I promise. I know you got a young family there. Take care of them. Work hard, and keep tuning into us. And it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, you too, Mike. Take care. God bless.
God bless you too. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. So that's our man Sam Askey from North Western Australia, giving us a down low. And where's Walking Journey? Is Steve the Plumber on there? He's supposed to get Skype so we could three-way call him with the Walking Journey, or we could three-way call him because Mr. E's on. We got to get Mr. E with. I want to get Mr. E on a three-way call with Andrew Baker if he's on. I'm not sure where he's at, and we could get this global warming thing fixed right now because I would like Mr. E and Andrew Baker to come on together on a three-way call here. So we could discuss exactly what's going on with this global warming because this has been going on for too long. Anything that's manufactured by the government, and when the government scrutinizes and imprisons people that go against global warming, you obviously see the pattern and you know where it's headed, right? Oh, who's saying this? Who's this published by? Is this the Journal of Science? No, this is the government saying global warming. Yeah. Good luck with that. That's just my. I guess remember, guys, this is my opinion. I gotta saturate. Oh, we got Evan here. Hopefully we can get Evan here. Evan, are you there, buddy?
I am. Yes.
How are you, my brother?
I am very well. Did you get the three-way going, Mike? I
got it working.
Videos.
I got it working perfectly. I had it working earlier with a couple of guests on asking each other questions on what they think. But I got to keep the show. I talked to my lawyer the other day, and I talk to him all the time. He's a good friend of mine, and he's telling me I need to get a little bit more satire in my show to leave it less. Like he doesn't. Yes, the topics are serious. Yes, we do have real guests on the show. Yes, people want to explain what's going on in their lives or in their neck of the woods, but create a bit of satire-ish so it's not so. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know me, Mike. I'm about the most serious person going. I never make any jokes at all.
Yeah, but yeah, your voice sounds like Buzz Killington. So every time I talk to you, you sound like Buzz Killington.
Wow, killing all those buzzers as I do. Pesky bees, Mike. Pesky bees.
Do you know who Buzz Killington is?
Is he a buzzkill at all?
He certainly is. I think he's actually worse than the guy from AMTV.
Oh, couldn't possibly be, Mike. There are so many wonderful personalities out there lifting our spirits with their monetary scams and pyramid schemes.
Yeah. I'm not putting you down. I'm just joking. I'm just joking with you.
Well, some people do want to euthanize me, Mike. You know, powers that be would love to euthanize me. I'd end up going to sleep and not waking up. It'd be no good. But you had Sam on just then. He seemed to be doing very well.
Yeah, Sammy's doing good. I gotta go back to Timor. I got a bit of work to do in Timor.
Timor-Leste, yeah.
Timor-Leste, and then I'm gonna probably just go right to Australia from there. I could probably take a boat to Darwin or something.
Well, that's usually where they get smashed on the rocks, Mike. I hope you're a good sailor. Pretty treacherous waters around there.
I'm a Portuguese man.
That's true, I suppose, Mike. I suppose the naval power of the universe,
and naval power of the universe, and we have the power of negotiation.
Well, we do have a lot of little bases everywhere. People
yes, we do.
That. Yes, they don't even know what Portugal is, most people.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I got Daniel O'Brien in the comments saying, Mike, it's really hard to get into you. They have made it hard. Your link doesn't seem to work all the time.
Yes.
By the time I find you, I cannot remember how I did it.
Yeah, it's very difficult, Mike. Very difficult indeed. They try everything they can to sideline you. I mean, it started off with a few, searches that didn't work, but now you've got the unsubscriber phenomenon, and you've got the hide all the links phenomenon, and you've got the can't get to your page phenomenon. So you've got quite a lot of phenomenon going on. It's quite phenomenal how much phenomena you have going on, Mike.
You see, the thing is that what bizarres me the most is I'm very vanilla too. I'm not, and I'm very multicultural. I speak a bunch of languages.
That's racist, Mike. You can't say that. Can't say vanilla anymore. You'd have to call it like guilt flavor or something. I don't know. What would you call it, Mike?
I don't know what to tell you because I mean, should I have a disclaimer at the beginning of my show? Hi, I'm Mike Martins. And yes, my wife is Filipina, my ex-wife is Muslim, and I dated women from these countries, and I lived in these countries, and I speak these languages, and I'm famous in Africa. I am not a racist. And then I continue, and then I do my show.
It's never enough for these people, Mike. Even if you wore a rainbow shirt, the wrong coloured rainbow, of course, their rainbow. And you've got breast implants and had gender realignment surgery and wore lipstick, Mike, they still wouldn't be happy. It's never enough for these people. They always find something to complain about. And for some reason, as people are noticing, the system seems to pander to the minority every time. The majority is always sidelined to make concessions for the people who contribute nothing but are the pets of society. They're the ones who get the restrictive laws through when you've got a lone nut, or a transgender issue person, or a vaccine issue person. Status quo always marches forward, Mike.
Okay.
They can't handle the truth. You got to remember that.
Does anybody want to jump on with Evan on the call? Anybody out there? Is there anybody out there that wants to join Evan on the call? Let me know in the comments.
We must get someone on, surely.
We could get somebody on to give us or ask Evan any questions. It'd be nice to have a couple of people on. Anyway, so okay, I got an article for you, and you need to help me with this one because obviously I'm an alphabet. In Portuguese, when we say we're an alphabet, means we're just like behind when it comes to education, and we just can't, because I can't decipher this. NAACP blames white supremacy for Portland earthquake.
Makes perfect sense, doesn't it, Mike? That sounds like a contradiction and a non sequitur all rolled into one. So let me think, how could the white people have caused the earthquake? Unless they're talking about weather weapons, Mike, there's no way they could justify it. But it's a perfect talking point, isn't it? It's like people talking about Gillette. Everyone's been, how would I put it? No one will shut up about that Gillette commercial, and yet there's commercials all day blaming the white man and having, whichever minority you like, grandstanding. So it's hard to know, Mike, how to wrap your head around that. It sounds like one of those stories where they're trying to aggravate people in order to get a discussion going about race relations.
Okay, we got Peter from Sydney that wants to come on with you. And
you're
you're in Hong Kong right now, Evan, are you?
I am, yes.
Okay, we got Peter here, two-time world champion. Let's get him on the show here.
See how it goes.
So we are currently calling Peter. Peter, you there, buddy?
How are you?
Oh, we got it. Worked.
Hey, good stuff. I'll just turn off the transmission from Mike, so that way I don't get the delay. How are you?
I'm very well, Peter. Mike is also well, I have heard. I read it in the newspaper this morning. What would you like to know?
Yeah, I would just like to, obviously, Mike wants to go down something with a little bit more sort of keep it vague. But in December, just before Christmas of 2018, which was last month, did you know that a German woman was stopped and questioned by police in Chemnitz, which is in eastern Germany? They had those riots against the illegals, obviously, after someone was stabbed and killed, as you would remember, in eastern Germany. Anyway, a woman, a German woman, because she has blonde hair, she was stopped at the railway station while she was having a drink with her cousin who had arrived from further north up near Mecklenburg-Vorpommern for having braided hair, because apparently the police wanted to know whether she was right-wing, because having braided hair, which is a typically Germanic thing if you watch shows like Vikings and the like, is a very German tradition. But apparently that is now taken as being right-wing or nationalistic. So your hairstyle actually can now be taken as inferring that you are of a certain political persuasion. I found that very interesting, and this woman found it very disturbing. So who has put the police up to that, to start going around and actually inquiring people, you know, whether their political persuasion is left or right, depending on how they carry their hair? I'd like to see them do that to someone wearing a burqa, you know, or would that be a little bit too politically sensitive?
Well, remember, Peter, you've got the double standards you've got to enforce. Who are they trying to marginalise and take out of positions of power day in and day out? The common person, the Christian people. What's left of the Christian people are wiped out on a daily basis. So it does not surprise me that if they can get away with some bureaucratic statute, then they will. I mean, just look at what they did to all the night markets in Germany. You've got to have bollards up now, and then you can't trade at certain times. There's many countries like that now, where you've got to be incredibly sensitive. Universities. Another example, there's mandatory, what would you call it, courses on Islamophobia and homophobia and transphobia. And if you want to be an educator, especially in Australia, they are the mandatory course. 50% of your course is all about political correctness. It's more about who's pulling the strings of government, and then the people just follow their orders, don't they? The busybodies pushing that paper, as they do.
Yeah, and it's also interesting. I heard a couple of talks on YouTube I was listening to about Common Core standards, which is what they've rolled out in America. Now, obviously, common from the word communism, it's aimed at like keeping everyone, you know, at a certain level of education. But again, people aren't like cars that you. Yeah, just basically like we get a certain baseline that we have to hit as teachers. But we don't want to go past that. We don't want to let the kids get any sort of smarter than that. We just want them to hit that baseline. And then anyone that else, you know, showing some sort of ability, well, obviously they don't get
held back.
An extra education. They get held back. So, yeah, you know, it's just this one base model that we're pumping out now in our education system under things like in America with that Common Core state standards that they've got. And the kids that actually should be encouraged to go above and beyond and excel, they are now actually being, you know, held back and disadvantaged by this system. And is that being done by design? What do you think about that, Evan?
Of course it is. You know, think about it, Peter. First, you've got worldwide almost. There's almost one or two publishers that do all the educational material. The biggest one, of course, is Pearson. If you're in Hong Kong, every school textbook is a Pearson textbook. They have a monopoly on education books. If you've got a monopoly on information, you're going to be able to guide where the information goes. And here especially, they want excellence in mediocrity, if that makes sense. If you've got a different way of thinking and it doesn't fit the model answer, then you get stomped on and your confidence is, you know, collapsed, isn't it? And then you end up with no motivation, I would say, no confidence at all to even try anymore. And a lot of those children are compromised from a very early age and encouraged to only think the way the state thinks. Whatever the model answer is the only right answer. and then you stop using other options, don't you? Because you stop thinking for yourself, and you wait for the authority to tell you how and what to think. Well, not how to think, just what to think. How
okay,
goes
guys,
out the window.
Let me interject here. Peter, I need your feedback on this. NAACP blames white supremacy for Portland earthquake.
Yeah, but Mike, you've missed the last part. It's the earthquake signs that they're putting up around the streets, you see. They're actually saying that certain buildings are no longer to be safe or considered safe in case of an earthquake. So what they're doing is they're advantaging certain areas to be, let's say, redeveloped, the buildings to be demolished. Basically, they're making them no longer usable by the black inhabitants, if I can use that word, of those areas. So it all comes back to cui bono, Mike, who benefits from this change in legislation. I'm sure there will be certain people that will be making large profits out of that. I did read the last bit there where it says it speaks to our houses of worship and everything about the black presence in the northeast area. So obviously the Afro-Americans are inhabiting those areas in the northeast. Those areas are currently considered not to meet the standards to be, safe in the, possible occurrence of an earthquake. And so they are being told that they have to be vacated. It's also affecting non-black people as well, though, I have been told. So it's not being unilaterally enforced just against the African-American population.
Again, hold on, Peter. It's been unilaterally politicized, though, hasn't it?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's only the black people that are screaming about it. There are white people being just as affected and being also told to vacate that. So, I mean, obviously, the way that it's reported is very important in how you view that. Mm-hmm. But it says, let's see, the group on Thursday decreed the policy affecting some 1,600 reinforced masonry buildings. So it's quite a lot, 1,600 reinforced masonry buildings that are on average 90 years old. So they are quite old. And many areas are predominantly inhabited with a black population, but not all of them. So, yeah, sure. If it's a predominantly black area, then obviously it's targeting blacks with white supremacy, but
I don't think that's the case. I'm
being sarcastic, Mike.
Yeah. No, I know. I just think it's the buildings are getting old, and it's time to refurbish some of these and get things up to the 21st century and start using some particle board from New Zealand and don't put in any insulation.
Yeah, I'm just saying, a 90-year-old building has probably reached the end of its useful life in many occurrences.
Not in Vancouver. Not in Vancouver, because $2 million buys you a 100-year-old house.
Not in Sydney either, Mike. There are some shockers. There are some very old buildings here which definitely need to be torn down, but still they are left up because, they're still considered habitable, even though modern people wouldn't want to really live in them. But still, I think a lot of that stuff is still dating back to poorer times, maybe back in the late 1920s and the 30s when, we had the Depression and that, and buildings were only constructed out of what people could afford at the time. So, of course, they weren't built completely to what we consider modern standards. But, look, it is targeting probably some, portion of the black community there which are feeling like they are being targeted directly. But
here's the problem, Peter.
Genuous to
but
actually
here's
sort
what
of
the problem is. This is what the problem has been the whole time. From the way I was talking earlier about how, it doesn't matter what color, to me, a person is. If someone is from Portugal, they're a Portuguese to me. Those guys singing that national anthem, there's 5 different color people in that national anthem. To me, those people are all Portuguese. Why can't they target it as Americans? Because they are Americans. Why do they keep targeting it on their race and not their nationality? That's what has been bothering me for many years,
It's incredibly easy, Mike, if you think about it. You look at the headline. It's got nothing to do with the fact of the matter of who is living there. It's all to do with dividing people, distracting people, so that while you're distracted, whether it's a holiday, Christmas Day, or some sort of disaster they orchestrate, they can get things done while you're not looking. And then you go, how did that happen? Well, we did that when you weren't looking, and now it's enforceable. Now we've got it in law. Whether or not the vote matters is another question entirely, Mike. Look at Australia, How many votes mattered there? 7 in a row. Still a vote hasn't mattered. And yet the government still has legitimacy. So they say they do anyway. And people go along with it because the media is culpable with the government agenda. Worldwide, not just Australia, everywhere they do that. The media is just another governmental arm designed to keep
Yes. Okay, let's get to the next article. Next article. Israeli Christians outraged by McGee's sculpture. What? I mean, there's art, and then there's absolute disrespect. Why is this happening? I mean, why are what? Why is is this a Gillette commercial? Oh, it's a vape pen commercial. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what the heck that was. Oh, it's going into a commercial here. What is going on with this McJesus? Okay, we lost the article now because of this stupid vape pen. What is going on?
Mate. I could give you an idea. I mean, it's allowed. You're not allowed to have it on television or in any sort of negative light cast. But Christians, Jesus is the butt of every joke in media, is he not? So they let the article slip at very least. The outrage is minor compared to the what would you call it, defamation of the Lord Jesus Christ, which are allowed to get out there, and then they're saying essentially that they can get away with it, even if there is a protest. There'll be more of this coming down the pipeline, Mike. You just watch.
Peter, any
Michael?
Huh?
Yeah, I just want to go back to what you were saying there about, okay, they're all Portuguese. Okay, okay, I'll give you a short story. Okay, like when I met my wife, I was studying in St. Petersburg in Russia for 2 years, from 95 to 97. All right. Now, she obviously speaks English and she speaks German as well. So, we met because we have, those languages in common, and she's also university educated and has 3 degrees and all that sort of stuff. So she's highly intelligent. But I visited her grandparents, okay, and they lived between Moscow and St. Petersburg. Now, Michael, do you know when I visited them the first time in 1995, I was, 29 at the time, who was the first and the last foreigners that had come to visit that village? Who do you think?
I have no idea.
Well, it was the Germans in 1941.
Oh, see? Okay. Historically. Okay, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Historically. Okay. But that was the only contact they had ever had with any foreigners. They had never, even in 1995, seen a black person. Never. Not ever. They didn't even know that, there were black people probably, in the West. It was like that. Culturally, the closest thing they had ever come into contact with a foreigner was a German. That was it. And they're white, as a rule. Normally they are. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're saying, okay, you can just drop people who are of a different racial type straight into a different society and they will be assimilated, within a generation. No, they won't.
No, not a generation.
It won't happen that way.
No,
it won't.
It'll
be a shock.
I said it could take hundreds of years.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And they're trying to actually pull off a 500-year experiment inside of 50. And a lot of the Europeans are not liking it. And they have good reason not to.
But here's...
Hold on a second, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I just have a point to make. We've got to get our definitions right, because when we say nation, we're talking about people, right? Not geographic borders. Because if we talk in terms of geographic borders, we're not talking about nations anymore, are we? We're talking about municipalities.
That's right. We're talking about racial groups, if we are allowed to use that word, because it actually might go further onto that actual bad word of racism, because racism is based on the word race, which is racial, and we have racial types. Yeah. And that's unfortunately words that we have invented to describe things. But they're going to try to erase bad words, which you can't use.
You've got to remember, Peter, that discrimination is a perfectly natural function of any thinking person, and they've turned it into a bad word. You have to tell the difference between green lights and red lights, but apparently when it comes to people, you've got a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Michael, can I just read a bit of poetry to you? This is written back in 1936 by Rudyard Kipling, okay?
Yep.
And it's called The Stranger, and it's very poignant, I would say, to a lot of people in Europe, at the moment. This is actually like, I would say, describing the situation they find themselves in. You in Canada will be in the same situation very shortly, especially in areas like Toronto, okay? I'll start, if that's all right with you. The stranger within my gate, he may be true or kind, but he does not talk my talk. I cannot feel his mind. I see the face and the eyes and the mouth, but not the soul behind. The men of my own stock, they may do ill or well, but they tell the lies I am wanted to. They are used to the lies I tell. We do not need interpreters when we go to buy or sell. The stranger within my gates, he may be evil or good, but I cannot tell what powers control, what reasons sway his mood, nor when the gods of his far-off land shall repossess his blood. The men of my own stock, bitter, bad they may be, but at least they hear the things I hear and see the things I see. And whatever I think of them and their likes, they think of the likes of me. This was my father's belief, and this is also mine. Let the corn be all of one sheaf, and the grapes be all of one vine, ere our children's teeth are set on edge by bitter bread and wine. So a lot of Europeans, Mike, have been living in their own ethnocentric groups for a couple of thousand years, and they are very used to those groups. And when they are told that suddenly you're going to get dumped on with a few million Muslims, it is not going to go down very well, Michael, because there are things you can't even mention here, which is differences in IQ. There are also certain Muslim groups which are predispossessed to inbreeding and things like that. And you can't go there because you're racist as soon as you bring those things up, but they're facts. And we can't discuss facts anymore.
Yes.
You know that, don't you?
And
it's all
this
about
is the trouble.
feeling, Peter. All about feeling.
Yeah. It's all about feeling. See, we can't actually discuss anything factual because even that guy who discovered the double helix and figured out that there were differences between white people and black people,
he got
genetic. Oh, he got destroyed because cultural Marxism. We're all the same, Michael. But we're not. That's the trouble.
But if we don't get into specifics and understanding certain things, how are we going to medically advance ourselves, medically wise, if we don't get into different understandings and different, chromosomes and different stuff, so that we could maybe find a cure for, let's say, Parkinson's in Indian people, because they have a different kind of ethnic breakup, or maybe finding a cure for Alzheimer's in Russians. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. You can't, because the state, mostly the system, the state, the private corporations have essentially monopolized all research and development. It's not cost effective anymore to do such things. Marketing and sales are at the forefront of almost every business these days, Mike. You've got to think of the love of money and the root of all evil. These people are very much inspired in that direction to have the petty power of today to lose their soul tomorrow.
Interesting. You know what it could be? It could be because my culture is very diverse, because we did kind of go around the world for many centuries. We were 300 years longer in Asia than any other European culture. The Portuguese were there 300 years longer. And I think it's because we were, introduced to diversity a lot earlier than other parts of Europe. I think that gave us a little bit of, I don't know how changing people or making them into modernized Portuguese, I guess. I don't know how to say it, or I don't know how to put it in words that make sense. But could it be that we had that maybe a little bit of a longer exposure than many other European cultures? Could it be that?
Yeah, but Mike, hold on, Mike, hold on. But Portuguese have a national identity, right?
Exactly.
Yes, but hold on. When you think of other people, when you're talking diversity, it's a natural, organic experience of having Portuguese in your country, right? Then you get the hybridization and the mingling of blood. But what we've got today is not organic. It's very much forced.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, yes.
It's not those
yes.
Muslims showed up all of a sudden. They just popped out of the ground when they were harvesting the turnips, did they?
Right.
They came over in mass with no passports, yet all had really nice Nike jackets. You know, those sort of people.
I understand what you're saying. No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, for me, when we were growing up, it was a bit different because we never looked at people by their color of their skin. I'm talking about just by color of skin, not religion. If somebody was from our country, they spoke our language, they're a Portuguese, right? Like in America, like everybody, like, you know, why would they say Afro-American all the time when they just can't be Americans? And that's my thing. They're just Americans. That's all they are to me. You know, I meet somebody from the other day that was originally from Liberia, but now he lives in California, and he's been living there for about, I think, 20 years now. But to me, he's an American. I don't see him as anything else. I don't see him as any color. He's just an American man in my store. Does that make sense? But I see what you're talking about the forced migration and people coming in and being dumped on. I get that. That's not going to work. It's like feeding a pig ice cream all of a sudden and seeing what happens to the pig after 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there is another consideration. Sorry, Peter. I'll be quick. I'll go first. Then I'll throw the baton your way, Peter. It's quite a throw, but I'll throw it for you. All right. So I was just going to say, language is very important, Mike. That's one of the unifying factors in any sort of national identity. And when you think a certain way, you have a language for your thinking, and it tends to determine the way you think. Like I was saying before with colours, a lot of Asia, Southeast and East Asians, they can't see blue or green. They can't differentiate them. You know, Japanese have a lot of trouble with the color green. So do Chinese. They have no color for turquoise. They have no color for aqua. Aquamarine would be a foreign concept to them. But then you go to Russia, and they've got 6 different words for blue. And when you look at them, you go, that's blue. And they say, no, we can see a very big difference between these shades of blue. Just look at the USS photo of the Earth with the mouse cursor still on it. But that's another topic entirely. But language might be the unifying factor when it comes to Portuguese. If you talk one way, you start to think one way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, of course. It makes... Well, I could tell a Brazilian from a Portuguese just by the accent, right? But
the nature of the language, Mike, is what I'm saying. The vocabulary you use, the flow of the language, the rhythm of the language tends to be a song you're singing. Like with most languages. But look at English now. Used to have rhythm all sucked away, all eviscerated through this bland talking that people do now. The most you'll get out of them is weather. If you're lucky, you might get another topic, perhaps sport. People don't talk about much anymore. The phone tells them what to think, and that's the culture we're in. The phone culture.
Wow. That's a really good summary. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, look, I would like to say that I totally agree. Language is an absolute, indispensable part of many cultures. If you don't speak that language, you really aren't part of that culture. And obviously, when I was in Russia, I learnt Russian and I had to speak Russian. And although my parents-in-law do speak English, I would always converse with them in Russian because that's the polite thing to do in those countries where you go to and you stay for an extended period of time. You will learn the language and you won't ever be part of that group racially because you just aren't. And it's like you're in Japan. And if you're not Japanese, you can be there for 4 or 5 generations. And if that society deems that you need to be of a certain background with regards to your blood, you can't become an assimilated Japanese. You are either born that way or you are not born that way, and that is a right that every society has to make that decision for itself. So some societies are always going to look at your bloodline. And it doesn't matter what you think. You can be there forever. And if you're black in a white country, you are not going to be one of them ever. And who is someone else to come in after thousands of years and jam a different interpretation of how they see their people up against them? There is a little group of people which is situated on the eastern shores of the Mediterranean Sea. And unless your mother is of that particular ethnocentric group, you will never be one of them, Mike. You can actually try to apply it to convert to their religion, and you may well be accepted after an extremely rigorous process of going through to adopt that religion, but you will never be one of them, Mike. But that little group is the group that is deciding for the rest of the world, oh, you all need to be super diverse and super enriched. But we ourselves, we don't want that for us. So is there no hypocrisy, Mike?
No,
after you, Mike, after you.
I just wanted to say, I got another article up here. And this article's from the National Post in Canada. Don't ever question mass immigration, or you'll be instantly a racist. So,
oh, well, hold on. I'm already a racist. How's that going to work? Do I get double racist? How many racists can I stack on top of myself? How long will my name badge be after I'm called a racist X number of times, Mike? Very subjective, isn't it? The way they enforce these rules.
The article goes on to say the PM is perceived by many as lacking the ability or desire to distinguish between immigrants and migrants and refugees. So how do we know who is what? You know what I'm saying? Immigration is likely to be a hot-button issue in the next federal election. I think immigration's... it was housing in the last election. I think this next election for all English-speaking countries, I think immigration is going to be the key factor. But then we had Brexit, and a lot of people... the UK wanted out of the European Union because of this immigration influx problem. And then now it's like... they voted for it, and then now it doesn't count because it didn't go their way, the globalists' way. So,
well, you can keep voting, Mike, until you get the result that you want.
Yeah,
that's democracy.
So,
and you can skew the vote if you want to. If you're short of time, you can do that as well. So there's no shortage of ways to get the desired result. The best way is to play both sides. Own both teams, and it doesn't matter what football game you're watching, you won anyway. That's usually the best way. That's the divide and conquer. Left and right really don't matter because it's the same bird's wings with two heads too. The double-headed eagle, their favorite symbol.
It's very. We're entering a very interesting time right now. I think we're interesting. We're entering the feelings. I'm a racist and. Mass segregation in words. We are segregating words to a point where not only that we have to watch what we're saying not to hurt anyone's feelings, but we're also entering a point where I think we're going to start seeing mass destruction in language. What do you guys think?
Michael, I'd just like to say one word here. Do you know who said this, by the way? The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it. George Orwell. Yeah. Are we not there already?
Oh, we're in absolute Orwellian. We're in Orwellian world right now. Big Brother is watching us through social media, through cameras. Then heck, I even heard that they're telling people to dry clean specific suits and they can't see water. You know why? Because they actually put tracking devices in some suit jackets now.
Mm. The elites are very paranoid at the moment. Paranoid about everything, you see. And they're worried. That's what worries them, that people are waking up and seeing all this.
No, but you see, they've got the ability, and this is one thing every society that wants to keep you suppressed counts on, is the other people are going to keep you in line. The sheepdog is no longer required. The sheep keep each other in line, don't they, with their social pressure and the social ostracizing of anyone who hasn't watched the latest episode of the news. What will happen next week? Who knows? And really, who cares when it comes to the news? They are there to distract you from doing something positive, something meaningful. They are there to keep you paralyzed in indecision, either through no choice or too many choices. They will get you both angles.
Okay, guys. Let's jump onto something a bit soft here.
Is it BitConnect, Mike?
No, it's not BitConnect. This live transmission
Everywhere,
from
make it
AMTV has been going on for 5 days now. There's actually 4 people watching this. Why is this like? I mean,
are you one of them, Mike?
Well, no, I'm not watching this. I have it live on the background just to keep track of how long this thing's been going on. But this thing, this like buy this box, buy this box. This man, I mean, I have a lot of respect for this guy. He has almost 600,000 subscribers. He built a beautiful platform on alternative media television. He basically worked his way up in the YouTube ranks and basically, yeah, spread the message of fear. Yes, he did. But he was waking people up to certain topics or subjects that wouldn't come up in the mainstream media. What has happened? Why is everything, even YouTube channels now are becoming this?
Yeah, but hold on, Mike. They're all merchandisers. Have you looked at Stefan Molyneux? Have you looked at Red Ice? Red Ice used to be good once upon a
2
time.
days,
and now
grocery
they
store.
want to steal your money left, right, and centre. They all start off that way, giving you honeyed words to lure you in, just to lead you astray. And a lot of them are government-backed anyway. They're either actors or they've been planted there. And we look at them and we try to emulate them, which is part of the problem, isn't it? Where we have the sheep sheeping the sheep, don't we? The sheep out-sheeping the sheep, even, if you want to be technical. But yeah, a lot of them are fake channels, a lot of popularity, Mike. If you were exposed in a natural sort of way, your growth was very natural on your YouTube channel. But you see these people come out of nowhere, all of a sudden, given a million subscribers, and people look at the numbers and go, oh, that's a bigger number, therefore he must be worth listening to. Then you get on their channels, Mike, and they siphon your time away, have well, I mean, not saying your live streams are bad, Mike, but I'm saying these people have 8-hour live streams where people are hanging on their every boring, monotonous word, dead air, half of the show's dead air, and people, throw money at them because they need a hero. They need a leader. They do not want to be responsible for their lives. They want someone to live their life for them.
It's very sad. It's very sad. He built a really good platform, and he just, all his videos have been deleted. All his videos about, dissecting things in the whole political landscape and giving his points of views. Whether they're right or wrong, that wasn't the point, or whether he's fear-mongering or not, that's not the point. The point is that we're all headed, most of everything is headed towards this propagandized fear, and I'm not trying to spread fear here, guys. I just want to have an honest discussion. I just want to talk, I need Evan, Evan, I'm going to need you to debate with Andrew Baker because he believes that global warming is man-made, right?
That might hurt his feelings, Mike. You never know. And remember, this is a feeling society, Mike. I might end up incarcerated.
Well, I'm gonna name the show "Drop the Gloves," and when I mean that, it's because I'm in Canada and this is very popular, even in the junior. The whole junior thing is this. We drop the gloves, and that's what happens right there. And that's what we do in Canada when, I guess, we don't. And that's what's going to happen with Evan versus Andrew Baker on a global warming debate here on the channel. We will be dropping the gloves, and we will find out, what you guys think. And, I mean, we're not going to come to any major conclusions that's going to change the surface of the earth. But it's going to give us some discussion, and it's good to see two highly educated people discussing their points of view on global warming. So, Evan, are you up for the debate?
Yeah, I don't mind, Mike, but you got to remember, you've got a 6th grade reading level. I've only got a 5th grade reading level, so you're more educated than me.
Yeah. Peter, I'll get you on a debate with somebody. So I got to find someone that's pro-immigration or someone that's see, I'm pro-immigration. I'm an immigrant. I'm Portuguese, right?
Someone that's pro-inbreeding, preferably. I can take that topic a lot further.
Well, I don't want to get my channel shut down, so we have to have it in a way. It's not like it's not like I don't have the guts to talk about it. It's that I couldn't care less about anyone's feelings, but I don't want to get my channel shut down. That's the key, right?
No, I'm just joking, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I just want to keep it as kosher as possible and have a little bit, I don't mind debating like this. This is how we debate in Canada.
Anyway, here's a tidbit for Evan for his debate. Portland, Oregon has just banned all books that dispute global warming in the school curriculum now. So there you go, Mike. That's how you remove critical thinking. Just get rid of any books that might actually be supportive of an alternative view or a counter argument. And there you have the school system working. So amazing how it works, isn't it? It's just delete or no longer, allow these students to access that material too easy.
Never existed. That's the way to do it. And then you're crazy if you talk about it. And then once the elders are dead, generations lose all that knowledge, don't they? Because parents don't talk to their children. Grandparents are out of the picture. The only place they're getting their information is from their idiot box or their miniaturized idiot box. Most people.
You know what Lenin said to the Americans after the revolution? He said to the Americans, you can keep all your banks and all your money and all your industries. Just give me your children
under 3
the primary school years up to, year 6 until they're 12, and I will take your country away from you.
Well, Aleister Crowley went one more. He said, get them before they're 3. So there you go. They're all in the same club, Peter.
That's it. And you can see that happening now in the American schooling system. Do you think that our schooling system has actually advanced? I think I saw a couple of extremely disturbing shows where people had actually resigned from the American schooling system in the last couple of years, and they said some of those schools are like a zoo. They are absolutely, where some of these minorities are, unteachable. The kids there are just absolutely off the hook.
To be fair, Peter, in Australia, if I were a male teacher in Australia, my days are always numbered because I can get a false allegation and I'm in the newspaper before there's even an investigation whether or not it's true. So, it's not just the behaviour of people, it's the accusation and the media spin too. If they want to rubbish you, they will.
And you as a teacher are completely exposed to any accusation. You must always defend yourself, and yet the students can get away with blue murder and they can hardly ever be expelled unless they might have committed some sort of serious injury to another person. But they can swear and they can call you names and they can start all sorts of rumours and make accusations. So what a horrible working environment as a teacher. Who would want to become a teacher? And once you're in there, of course, you're going to toe the line, aren't you? You're going to teach what you're told to teach because otherwise you are gone. So there's no independent thought. Don't tell me that there's any independent thought from a lot of these teachers anymore because that is a ticket to losing your job. And that is the way the system has now evolved.
Hold on, Peter. I'm actually a teacher and I teach independent thought independently of the system. That's what we do. We try and reverse it and protect the minds of these children from the disgusting educational system that, what would you say, envelops the world worldwide. You've got the Prussian education model that's never changed, repetition and injunction, injection, indoctrination until you've submitted. That's the world today. So you have to protect people from that. You have to do the best you can. That's why I do what I do. One of those rare actual teachers, very few and far between, I tell you, Peter. Most school teachers I know, you ask them a question, they don't have an answer. You ask them, do they have a question? And they still don't have an answer. They want you to tell them how to teach. They want you to tell them how to think because they're a product of that very same education system. So what could you expect? Expect no less than the lowest common denominator, which is in free fall presently worldwide.
Okay, guys, I want, so if there's anybody that wants to challenge Peter to anything that's opposed, because obviously people are opposed to things I say, people are opposed to things Peter says on the show, people are opposed to what Evan says on the show. So far I got a matchup with Evan and Andrew Baker. I would debate Andrew Baker in the whole global warming dispute, but I'm just not intellectually, scientifically inclined to understand a lot of it. So that's why it's best that we match up people, and I could be the guy in the middle that stops people, and we could just drop our gloves, and no swearing, no disrespecting anyone's mom, and everybody kind of throws their opinion in the hat. So if anybody out there wants to challenge Peter, because I'm very sure that people want to challenge Peter. So if anybody wants to challenge Peter out there, please let us know if he said anything that might be somewhat maybe hurt your feelings or something that made you upset. Maybe you come on and talk to Peter. We could get a throw. We could throw the gloves, and we could go at it mano a mano.
I think Andre has something that he might like to debate with me. I see that he has put in a couple of protests against my views on immigration. So perhaps Andre Nikatina.
Yeah. Blue Space Entity, the person that's going to challenge global warming, is not on the show right now, so don't worry. We're going to schedule this in the next few days or so. We're going to organize both parties to be available for the discussion. Are you still there, guys? Wow, my Skype turned off. Wow, I lost everybody on Skype. Pete, you guys there? Did I lose you guys?
Can't have anyone's feelings.
I'm here. Are you guys there?
I'm here.
Yeah, we're still here. I was just saying to Peter, I'm saying the trick with people getting offended, Peter, is you get offended that they got offended, then you say, that makes sense?
Yes. So we can't, be offensive to anyone because, my God, their feelings might get hurt.
Yeah, so we got Peter also up. Maybe Peter, if you want to broaden your discussion on maybe even talking about maybe food, maybe I don't want to talk too much about vaccines because then we get shut down. It's very like ancient Navajo way we got to do this. I have to run a channel that looks like oh yeah, okay, we got Sam here that wants to has a good question that was just on the show. Ask about weather modification. Is that something that's happening? Can we prove it? Can we discuss it? Can we drop
look into that?
Governments have treaties. The UN has treaties on weather weapons. So why would they have a treaty if they didn't have the weather weapons? That'd be the question. And they tested them in Vietnam, cloud seeding, silver nitrate, silver chloride, all sorts of silver particles. They spray the sky these days with barium, strontium, alumina, and things like that. They've got patents on digital projection technology. The Department of Defense does anyway, where they can quite literally project an image into this membrane they create by spraying the sky. And I'll tell you, if you talk about people spraying the sky, some people do go ballistic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the problem with my channel, everyone pretty much leans already to the right. So it's really hard to find someone that I'll find somebody. I'll get someone. I'll make a separate video during the week saying, hey, guys, we got these debates. Who wants to debate? We already got a global warming. We're going to drop the gloves on global warming, and we're gonna fight it out. And then with Peter, we got to find someone that finds something that Peter says either wrong, offensive, or incorrect somehow. We got to find somebody out there. So if you're watching the show and you're watching this on replay, let us know if you want to debate something with Peter. It'd be nice to get a nice debate going. Dropping the gloves, no making fun of each other's moms and religion or any of that. We got to keep it as kosher as possible. But we got to also respect each other in the process too.
Well, that's pretty funny, though, Mike, isn't it? You're setting up all these fights, but don't be polite.
Perhaps it's best to be offended sometimes, Michael.
You learn something that way usually.
Yeah.
Because if you're offended, you got to try and defend yourself. Most people don't want to do that. They want, I'm offended, and then thugs come and beat up my opponent that I was offended by. It's usually what happens.
No one's a winner. Everyone gets a prize. Every kid's a winner.
That's right. No, we're all the last loser here, Mike.
Yeah. It's like, there's a participation prize for everyone. No right or wrong. That's where we're going wrong, Mike. We've got to call the truth. When it's right, it's right. Some truths are just right.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. Yeah, we need to.
They want us trapped in indecision, like Evan said. They want us guessing and just never making a call, never making a decision. Everyone's just dilly and dallying, and then as that occurs, life goes by, and bang, suddenly, it's lost. They've made all their calls. They're very decisive when they act, Mike. You've got to understand that. They won't give you any grace or any sort of mercy.
Okay, how much of what we're being told right now is completely, and I'm talking about what we're being told as a whole. I'm not talking about like global warming. I'm talking about everything we're being told as a whole. How much of it is all decompartmentalized, whatever you want to call it, where we're missing so many gaps in between of what we've been told or what's been leaked? How much out there do we not know that could pretty much finish this story for us or complete this story of what is going on?
I'll go first, I suppose, Peter. I mean, in terms of biblical, we've got to bring it back to the Bible because I'm a good boy. But they can't abide the truth at all, Mike, because there's no truth in them. So when they're officially telling you something, whether it's the pyramid or global warming or terrorism or geopolitical nonsense, the puppet show of politics, you know that the opposite must be true because they can only lie. They are very consistent and reliable in that way. Their patterns don't change. Their rituals don't change. They operate like clockwork. The trick is they get you to believe them. So how much are we missing, Mike? Well, everything, I suppose, would be the best way to describe it. If everything's a lie, Mike, then everything that we don't know is the truth. That's the way I see it. And it cuts through the lie real quick. They say global warming. I say, prove it, substantiate your claims. And they say, you're a racist. That's usually a good indicator that they don't know what they're talking about. Usually. When they start throwing slogans at you, when they've got those patented E Benkyo Genki kids, A Kiowa flamethrowers on full, you're in trouble, getting covered in all sorts of labels, Mike. And all you got to do is walk straight through them because they're just pieces of paper. But if you let them pile up and don't confront them, you're covered in a pile of paper. But if one label comes at you, what should you do? Shoot it down. Always stand up for the truth. You're a casualty when fighting in a war because you use the truth. Doesn't matter, Mike. You've got to use the truth. You never throw the truth away for anything. It is always inconvenient in a world like this, but you still got to press on because when you do, they wither and die like dust in the wind.
Well, we got Sam Askey in the comments saying if Al Gore says it's true, it must be. He's very trustworthy.
He's super serial. That's right, Mike. Super serial.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to find that man Bear Pig, and then everything will be all right. The truth will be revealed, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, Peter, your answer to his question, please.
Homer Simpson here.
See, I was brought up with weird concepts such as, telling the truth and being honourable. I think, when you grow up, you should be honourable because if you're not, as Evan said, you're like just dust in the wind. You can't be believed. But when you look at some of the people in power, especially in the deep state in America and probably many countries, they don't have any honour, Mike. So we're at an extreme disadvantage. You've actually got to drop down to their level to fight them. And that's a very nasty thing to do because, if you stare into the abyss, Mike, the abyss will stare back into you. So as Nietzsche said, beware he who fights with monsters lest he become a monster himself.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on a disadvantage here trying to combat these people because we're trying to stay human, we're trying to stay true to ourselves, we're trying to stay honourable, we are trying to leave a positive legacy. But when you have people who are fighting against you by all means foul, that leaves you at a very big disadvantage. But it's also a strength because people that recognise you for what you are and who are of a similar mind, a similar desire to change the world. Well, hopefully they can act in concert with you. But it's knowing how to identify those people that are on that evil side that is extremely important. And of course, so much of the news that we are seeing and receiving today is manufactured, and there is so much predictive programming in Hollywood films. And I found it very interesting when I watched a show, and it said that before the elites do something to you, there is an unwritten rule where they must actually inform you of what is going to be done to you, so that when it does happen, you have actually been told, so that there is some sort of acquiescence. Because when the devil makes a deal with you, he's actually got to give you a contract, and you've got to actually enter into that willingly and be a party to that contract. They can't just spring it on you out of the blue. You actually have to be informed, but they can inform you of what's going to happen by devious means. So a lot of hints come out in movies and in the media. They tell you what they're going to do to you, and a lot of people, they don't realize what they're seeing is actually the future, and then these things come to pass. And you can see that with 9/11 and things like that, where actual movies have shown what occurred many years prior to it actually occurring. So, I think it's a mind game that's being played with us constantly with these people. Mm-hmm. And you can't let your guard down, but so many people are now too dumbed down to be able to critically think and evaluate and know enough history and enough, scripture, as Evan might say, to actually recognize what is being done to them. And that's the trouble. I think we've regressed mightily in our education system. I speak to some young people today, and I thought, well, I got a pretty mediocre education. I'm relatively fluent in 3 languages and all that sort of thing. Travelled widely, but still, I look at some of these, great minds that we produced. And where are the great minds of the future going to come from, Mike? This educational system that we've got is not designed to produce great minds of the future anymore.
I think the great minds were going to be coming from countries like Iceland and Greenland and countries that are more, I guess, outside of the main scope of things.
You need to be free of this matrix which is being imposed on us, which is constricting our thoughts and just retarding the words that we are even capable of using without feeling oppression. Because as soon as you diminish the vocabulary of a person and their ability to think in certain ways, you are limiting their, possibilities to think and to actually come up with solutions. So I used to always think it was very amusing when people, you would see these movies and it was really cool to be dumb in school. That was cool. You were, really sort of gangster. You didn't know anything, but you were the coolest. And, showing off how ignorant you were was a strength. And I thought, wow, and that was 20 years ago. We've actually reached that point now where, so many of the kids going through the school system, you would really think, wow, if that person, had to start a business or something, would they be capable of it? Probably not.
A lot of people aren't even capable of paying their own rent.
They're going to be capable of performing a very menial government job somewhere and being told what to do, but their ability to think for themselves and at a higher order is no longer there. And by the time they've reached 18 and those critical analysis and thought-provoking skills are missing, a lot of people don't even read books anymore, Mike. They're no longer literate, and that is like criminal in a society where so much information is available. And so many people are just the iPhone generation and they can't even think for themselves anymore. They just suck up what they're being told. Okay. And that is the real criminal sort of level of, regression that we have reached in this modern society. We've got so much available and yet so many people find it just too hard. They're too lazy to actually get out there, get activated and get informed. And so hopefully we're making a difference, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, very good points you brought up there, Peter. Let's disturb our broadcast here from a speech from our great leader, Al Gore.
Students of South Park Elementary, I'm here to educate you about the single biggest threat to our planet. You see, there is something out there which threatens our very existence and may be the end to the human race as we know it. I'm talking, of course, about Man-Bear-Pig.
Wow. So he's talking about Man-Bear-Pig here.
People say that Man-Bear-Pig isn't real. Well, I'm here to tell you now, Man-Bear-Pig is very real, and he most certainly exists.
There you go. That's a message from our great Al Gore, who burns more fuel on his private jet for global warming.
Oh, he said it, Mike. Must be true.
Yeah, Man-Bear-Pig.
Look at the great statesman Canada's producing as your Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. That's a giant, an absolute giant of mental thought, isn't it? That individual.
What, Castro's kid? We're talking about Trudeau, are we?
Absolutely. It's like, where did they find him? You know, seriously, is that the best you can come up with for a Prime Minister? It's like...
They play off each other, don't they? I mean, that family's had a long history. Clintons have had a long history. You know, before Windsors, they were German. They've had a long history. They all tend to intermingle together. Even Obama's related. There was that girl only recently who did the genealogy of all the presidents. Every single one related, somehow. What a coincidence. Yeah. What are the odds there, Peter? They are good odds.
Yeah, some things aren't a coincidence. I'm sorry. Just like way too coincidental to be a coincidence. No, they are happening by design, and you just have to see the patterns and be able to realize that that is something that is planned. That is not a coincidence.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay.
Once again, though, you need a bit of an education for that, Mike. See, that's the trouble. And you need to be widely read, and you need to also be able to get information and to distill it and to come up with critical thought process in analyzing what is fake and what is real. And if you just sit there and watch the mainstream media, you are just going to absorb what they want you to absorb, and a lot of it is fake.
Well, by their fruits you shall know them, right?
That's right.
All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a night. It's been 2.5 hours. I want to get some sleep. I appreciate you guys coming on the show and making a difference. And Peter is up for a fight. Whoever wants to drop the gloves and discuss or talk about any of these challenging topics that we have here in our little speakeasy that we call the Handheld Junkie video game channel, that we are open for dialogue, providing we're not swearing or cursing or dissing each other's mother. But we want to talk. We want to be able just to talk. I don't think we're committing any crimes by talking yet.
Do you like to plant trees, Michael?
I probably have, yeah. I have planted trees here in my own house.
Okay. So here's a proverb for you for when you get a little bit older, maybe my age, 50, 52. A society grows great when old men plant trees, whose shade they know they shall never sit in. That means it's not all about raping and pillaging the world that you've got now and ripping every shekel out of it and demoralizing and impoverishing those people as is being done at present. What makes a society great is people that actually try to build that society up for the future generations. You've got kids, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you like to plant a few trees where even when you're gone, because we're all going to be gone one day, there's no doubting that, but there's going to be some beautiful trees or a legacy or knowledge or something that you can pass on to your children, and they will remember you fondly for that.
Yep.
That's where we need to get to, and that's not where we're at the moment. There is a very evil little cabal of people out there that is trying to destroy everything that's good and great in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what I would like to finish off today's discussion with. You may not agree, but that's my thought on the matter.
Okay. That's a really good proverb you brought up. And yeah, I appreciate that. I did plant a tree for my daughter and my son. a few summers ago. So I have done that. I know what you're saying, Peter. I know what you're saying.
I see Andre's comment there, which is very insightful. It's not all about you, Mike. See, that's the thing. So many people are just for themselves. It's all me, me, me. I need to buy that thing. I need to go out to the shops. I want that. Me, me, me. But what about the future generation? What about the children? Don't you want something for them? And don't you want them to live better than them? You know, live better than you do.
You can't have that, Peter, because if you talk about future generations, you're not talking about me. There's the problem.
Yeah. That's the thing, you know. You've got to have that intergenerational concept of you are just a cog in the wheel, because actually life is a pact between your past ancestors, you in the present, and the future generations. And you need to realize that you are just in this space and time for a short period, but you actually are going to be critical in what sort of world is passed on to that next generation. And if that chain is ever permanently broken, well, we're going to head into a very dark place, Michael, because who knows who will have the knowledge to recreate that. It's
the problem is, I've been talking about this over and over. 100 years from now, Google is going to have the power, or whoever's at the top at the time is going to have the power to change history, to tell people that Iraq did have weapons of mass destruction, that you know, all this stuff that we were lied to about is just going to mysteriously change in the next 100 years, because none of us will be alive to tell people what really happened. That's the sad part, and anything that we do create now will just be destroyed or wiped or erased from existence.
Well, that's why too much power is being concentrated at the moment, Michael, into too few hands. And those that want to actually decide what we can hear and not hear and discuss, they're the wrong people, because that should never be held, that power, by any one person or group. That is precisely what the American Second Amendment is for, freedom of speech. But, as you can see, we are no longer free to speak about so many matters, Mike.
But despite that, I do have to interject. I do apologize, Mike. You inhaled very furiously and then began exhaling, but I will cut you off briefly. I was going to say that even though it is being consolidated into very, very few hands, these very, very few hands all serve the same master. So the outward appearance, you know, it's a one-world system already. They all work together. It's all up to us to see through the lie. It's really not that hard, but once you see the lie, once you know you've been lied to, the truth will come and find you. If you want to say, oh, it's a lie, but I've just got to do this because I'm afraid I might lose my cubicle job, then you're going to corrupt yourself and become complicit in your own enslavement. You will keep your prison cell pristine when your mind becomes fearful. However, the spirit of fear is not the spirit of God, and the spirit of truth is God. So, what are you going to do, children out there? What are you going to do? Rhetorical question.
Yeah, definitely. That's all. It all ascends to the one master, or the one. And I don't want to get all biblical, but I don't know if you remember that letter from Paul to the Corinthians, or I can't remember one of those letters he wrote. He received a letter from them and said, "We have stopped working. We are waiting for Jesus to come back," and blah blah blah. Paul writes back and says, "No, continue working. Those who don't work will not be fed. Jesus will come back at a time when an evil man, they say it's an evil man, will come and will come and take the place of God."
Yes.
And
the other thing, I mean, Mike, if you think about it from that perspective, no man knows the hour or the day of my coming. So, you know, you got to keep going. Assume it's going to keep going. You got to do the best you can. No doing half a job. Everything full throttle to the floor. The best you can.
Matt Guy saying in the comments, it's not what we plan to fail, it's that we failed to plan.
Part of it, yes. But these people have very intricate plans, and they have no regard for who gets crushed on the way to getting to them. But if you have the truth, they can't stand against that. You've got to remember that. The truth cuts through all their lies. They can't abide the truth. There's no truth in them. They worship the master and the father of lies. So truth, best weapon against them, no matter what they say, no matter what they try and convince you. Fight fire with fire? No. Use the truth. They cannot withstand it.
Yes.
Mm.
All right, gentlemen, it was a pleasure having you both on, and we'll hopefully see you sometime next week, next Saturday, my time, if you guys are available. And we'll see if we can schedule a few fights.
Michael.
Yeah?
Did you know that your name is a rhetorical question?
Well, my name means a message, an angel with a message?
It's a rhetorical question, your name. It's Michael. Do you know what that means?
I'm just thinking Latin here. Hold on.
It's actually Hebrew.
Oh, okay.
It means who is like God. Can you answer that?
Whoa. I thought my name meant an angel with a message, because it's
Well, there is an angel, the archangel Michael.
Yeah.
But his name is literally the question, who is like God?
Interesting. Now we're
Do you know what the answer to that? Do you know what the answer to that is?
No.
There is no one like God. There is only God.
That's right.
That's right. Leave you with that as a parting thought.
I will think about that. Anyways,
there
guys,
is only one God, Michael, and no one is like him.
Right.
And that's a truth. There you go.
All right.
Deep. But anyway, you're doing a great job out there, Michael. I appreciate all the videos that you post.
Mm-hmm.
You did a good one the other day talking about the world.
Did you like the banking one?
Very insightful. I did. Absolutely. I do post the occasional comment and reply.
I actually pinned yours to the top.
Thank you.
I did. I tried to. Oh, yeah, I'm on the other channel. That's why it's not letting me do it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm looking for some MTG cards for you, Michael.
Good.
Hope
Yeah, if you find any of them on bargain sales, yeah, guys, if anybody has any Magic cards, please ship them to me, because you know, we could work out a negotiation where I could buy them from you guys, because I sell Magic cards in my store and online, and I do really well doing it. I've been doing it all my life, so if you guys want to help out, Peter's my scouter out there, and I think Evan has a collection too, right, Evan? Evan?
Evan's gone, perhaps.
I think he got arrested. Okay.
Shut down. Google.
Okay, Petey, we'll talk through the week.
All right.
We'll talk through the week, okay?
Not a problem. All the best to you, sir. Have a wonderful night, and I will catch you later on sometime.
Okay, hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista, my friend.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, okay, before I end the transmission, I want to thank everybody for contributing to the show. I want to thank everyone that's hit me up in the tip jar this week. Send just, you know, $1 is fine. I don't care. It all adds up in the end, and it looks like I'm going to be really close to buying my new computer now in the next week or two with the donations that have been coming in. And what else do I got going on? I want to buy a 4K camera to stream, to get the best streaming quality as humanly possible. Yeah, Mr. E says you could have my cards. Yeah, just tell me what you want for them. Give me a fair price, because I still have to flip them. So let me know what you want for them, and I could just PayPal you back. What else do I got going? That's it, guys. Yeah, thanks for supporting the transmission. Thanks for coming on the show. Add me on Skype, and if you're looking to see if we can get a fight going between Peter. Peter's got a wide range of topics. So does Evan. So Evan, I'm gonna get a clearance with Andrew Baker. Andrew Baker, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good. We got to get a global warming fight going on, and we got to drop the gloves, Canadian style, and go from there, and then see if we can get something going good. Don't forget to check out some of these channels, guys. Some of our channels that support us too. Uneducated Economist is out there. Don't forget to subscribe to Uneducated Economist. Just Cringe channel, Diversity channel. Don't forget to check out our, just, you know, from our people that come on from time to time. I want to get the guy from California, from San Jose, back on. I got to get him back on. He's posting a few housing videos there. I got to see what's going on in his neck of the woods there in San Jose. Demise Music and Entertainment. Yeah, we got to get him on the show. We got to find out what what's going on in his neck of the woods in San Jose. Anyways, yeah. Is there any pro Trudeau supporters out there that can maybe come on and debate with some of our guys here on the show? I'd like to know. I really would like to know if there's anybody out there that wants to get into a good fight. Anyways, let me know. Comment below. Thank you so much. Have a good night.